Let's just be. We had this time to spend together. As I said, Lord have mercy, there is no need to watch the bridges that we're burning. Lay your head upon my pillow. Sometime when it's cold outside, you might just wanna hold your warm and tender body close to as I said, Lord have mercy. Won't you hear the whisper? The whisper of the raindrops. It's blow softly against my window. Yeah, yeah. All you gotta do is make me believe you love me. All I ask is just one more time. Hey, for the good time, for the good time. And I just like to let you know, and darling, get along. But wait a minute. I'm sure you'll find another. But baby, please remember that I'll be here. I'm gonna stay right here. And if you you should ever find you need me. And don't say about tomorrow. Yeah, 'cause there'll be enough for severance when you leave me. You would never do that, baby, would you, baby? Would you? For the time. Oh, baby. Thank you for the good time. And here's what I want you to do is lay your head. Lay your head upon my. You see, it might be snowing or raining outside. You might want to hold your warm and tender. Why don't you hold? Why don't you hold me close to mine, sweet baby? Won't you please, baby, hear the whisper of the rain that keeps on blowing softly against my window. Hey. Hold your warm and tender loving body. You just hold it. Oh, baby, would you please hear the whisper of the rain that keeps on blowing softly, yeah, against my window. Make believe you love me. Just make believe you love me one more time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, baby. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. I love you.
Person that I've been lately ain't who I wanna be. But you stay here right beside me. Watch as the storm goes through, and I need you.
'Cause God gave you for the ups and downs.
God gave me you for the days of doubt. For when I think I've lost my way, there are no words here left to say it's true. God gave me you, gave me you. There's more here than what we're seeing. Defying conspiracy. It's you, an angel lovely, could somehow fall for me. You'll always be love's great martyr. I'll be the flattered fool, and I need you. Yeah, God gave me you for the ups and downs. God gave me you for the days of doubt. For when I think I lost my way, there are no words here left to say it's true. God gave me you on my own. I'm only half of what I could be. I can't do without you. We are stitched together, and what love has tethered, I pray we never undo. 'Cause God gave me you for the ups and downs. God gave me you for the days of doubt. Oh, God gave me you for the ups and downs. God gave me you for the days of doubt. For when I think I've lost my way, there are no words here left to say it's true. God gave me you. Gave me you. He gave me you. Jesus, take the wheel, take it from my hands, 'cause I can't do this. Here comes goodbye. What hurts? Here comes the last time. Was being so. Here comes.
Pleasant good night, Veronica. Good night, good night, good night. All right.
Good night, John. How are you?
I'm okay. Just to make
Good.
pin off this stuff, yeah. Getting a double.
I can barely hear you, John. I can barely hear you.
Just hold on a second. Just trying to kill this mic here. Yeah. All right. So, how you doing?
I'm doing good tonight.
You doing good tonight? That's a good thing.
It's been a good day.
It's a good day?
Yes.
Wonderful day in the neighborhood?
Oh, yeah. Productive day.
Beautiful. Yeah. All right. So, I'm trying to see if I could hear on the outside because somehow YouTube is fine, but that seems to be hearing on Facebook is not activating. It's not going on. I don't know why. Some reason I'm having some issues.
Yeah, I can barely hear you, John.
Yeah? How about now? You hear me better now?
Yes, much better.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Now I was saying that Facebook is not giving me a live. And I get the live on Facebook. I don't know what happened here. But let's see what happens with this. Yeah, Facebook Live. I don't know what happened to them. And we should be live on Facebook. But somehow we're not, and that seems to be getting that activation going here. Nevertheless, pleasant good night to all our listeners around the world and those of you listening right here in Toronto, And to my friends to the south of us, it is the United States, our new rivals. Well, we step up our securities, to make sure that you don't invade us, Veronica, with Don Quixote and Sancho Panza. Yeah.
I know, just because our countries are at odds doesn't mean that we're at odds.
No, we're not. We're not. I just loving the war, Yeah, this war of words that is just taking out everything that is what they call political and economic war. Yeah, it's just something
Yes.
happening.
Yes.
Well, Minister Jones said that she would not be in tonight, so I'm just gonna go with the flow here.
Okay.
Getting that feedback. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we are just gonna keep it going, and my topic for tonight, taken from the book Intimacy in Marriage, which you don't have a copy of. It basically deals with, I kind of hesitate to dive into that topic, but I would go into it. Constructive confrontation in your marriage, right?
That should be
Constructive
interesting.
confrontation in your marriage. But before I start, I would love to open in a word of prayer, and that way we get it done. Father, we thank you for yet another Tuesday night where we can come together in this fashion to talk about your institution of marriage, the very first institution that was created by you. So, Father, into your hands I commend this session tonight. To those who are listening for the very first time, second, third, fourth time, Father, I pray, God, that those who are even thinking of getting married or divorced or into a relationship, that they may get some information here, that they may use it, the knowledge, to transform their lives. Father, we know that information don't cause transformation, but understanding do. Yes? It's conversion and understanding that create the nuances, the strength of a marriage. The more you know, the more knowledge you have about your partner, the stronger and longer it lasts. So, Father, into your hands, I commit this session tonight. In Jesus' name. Amen. All right. So, as long as we've been doing this show, we have had several different topics and long and healthy discussions. Some arguments, some disagrees with certain things. But this book is written by Dr. Angela Dazzato with Robin Lee, Developing Intimacy in Marriage. And tonight we go dive into one of the I don't know if it's my favorite chapters, but one of the things that I think chapter 9 of the book 117, and those of you who listen who have a copy, I know a lot of you have copies, constructive confrontation. Now, when I first read this, what is constructive confrontation? It's similar to constructive criticism, yes? But you want to have a constructive conversation and confrontation without having to share blood or share blows, physical blows, yes? So here I am tonight with Veronica, hoping the rest of the panelists will join us sometime later. And our discussion is simply dealing with confrontation. A lot of people, like myself, avoid confrontation and don't like confrontation. And to say it nicely, to be cool, calm, and collective, don't fight. Because God is not the author of confusion. Right? And at all costs, it is imperative that we stay away from confrontation, negative confrontation, but get involved in constructive conversation and confrontation where both parties could live unhurt. There's a new phrase going on that goes like this, and if you ever heard it, listen but don't judge. We listen but don't judge. Yes? So tonight,
I never heard of it.
we're listening and don't judge tonight. Constructive.
It's called we listen and we don't judge.
You see my co-host, my little production here. We listen but we don't
Correction.
judge.
We listen and we don't judge.
Beautiful. Yes, she is. We listen. That's a new phrase around here. We listen, but we
Okay.
don't judge. We listen, but we
Love
don't
it.
judge. All right. So, see,
Thank you, Abby. Thank you.
Abby knows what's going on. So, it's a thing here. We listen and we don't judge. All right. So tonight, those of you out there, I hope you're listening and don't judge. See, Abby is my girl. She you see that we ready. The whole family is ready to talk about this thing, right? We listen, but we don't judge. So we avoid confrontation. We listen and we don't judge. Because sometimes when you're judging, you could misjudge. Yeah? And that
Yes.
could lead to a
Many
lot of different fights. Yeah? Listening, but we don't judge here. All right. So this brother wrote this piece and he quoted John 19:12-9. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. For whatever reason, he used that to open his opening salutation sort of to this chapter. He said, I am presently counseling a young lady who is pregnant with her third child. All three children have different fathers. Wow. And the eldest is 5 years old. The young woman has never been married and came to me expecting to be comforted in her difficult situation. When I dared to ask her why she had 3 different children from 3 different men in 5 years without taking any precaution or changing her lifestyle, she burst into tears and accused me of not understanding. She went on about needing love and being betrayed by the 3 men. She accused me of being heartless for not being sympathetic towards her and said I should accept her for who she was and do something to help her. Our society has fallen into the trap of bleeding heart sentimentally. We are afraid that if we confront people on unacceptable behavior, we will be seen as judgmental and self-righteous. It does no one any favor for us to engage behaviors that perpetuates a dysfunctional lifestyle. People need to be responsible for their own behavior. They need to be guided into positive, constructive way of life. Our welfare role are breaking the back of economy through our own negligence in confronting irresponsibility. We need to be a caring community where people in real need can receive assistance. But we must exercise wisdom in differentiating between real need and dysfunctional dependency. Dysfunctional dependency. When the distinctions is made, we need to realize that constructive confrontation in a dysfunctional situation is a far more loving approach than simply or easy sympathy. So, on a personal level, it is sometimes very difficult to confront a spouse when behavior is unacceptable. If the goal is to change the behavior, then, as we learned in the previous chapter, the spouse must see change as beneficial. Unfortunately, most actual confrontation in marriage takes place in an environment of anger, where the situation has deteriorated to such a degree that absolute frustration takes over and the confrontation becomes nothing more than a screaming match. That's the problem with neglecting to deal with difficulties as they arise. Tension mounts until pressure becomes unbearable and everything blows. It forces people into the position of having to react rather than act. Well, I'll stop there for now. Constructive confrontation. So we have a scenario here where this young lady came to this man, this counselor, to fix the problem that she got herself in, trying to looking for love from the wrong set of people and saying they disappoint her. Okay? She gave herself away, hoping that the next one will love her the way she wanted to be loved. And I think in that case, perhaps she even stopped loving herself first, you know? And she's making all the wrong choices, hoping that Bob is better than Tony, so she move on to Tony. And Tony comes and Tony goes, and Bob comes and Bob goes. And because of his experience over the years, he was trying to not give her sympathy, but to let her know the truth. You messed up. You know, sometimes it's hard to tell people they mess up. They don't accept it. They feel like you're putting more fuel to the fire than trying to put water to quench it. And a lot of times we find ourselves in those situations where we don't want to hear the truth, but the truth sometimes hurts, but it only heals you.
Yes.
That's come like a doctor with a knife in his hand and John catches a knife in his hand. I could cut you to kill you, the doctor will cut you to heal you. And when you go to someone who has been in the field of counseling people for over years, you have seen many different wounds. And every wound have a different prescription for the healing. Yes? And in that lady case, her situation need to just take a break and stop jumping and looking for love from other people when she should look it for herself. I think so that's where it is. So to confront people, to have a constructive confrontation, it simply means that one must be able to receive the constructive criticism and don't see it as hostile penetration into your heart, but receive it as a medication to cleanse and to rebuild your personal life. Our time for you to step back and sit down and say, look, yeah, probably this might be the right medicine for me. Instead of rushing and looking for love, I should take an inward look at myself and see what I can do to fix me first before trying to go look for people to fix me. I don't know about you, Veronica. What are your thoughts?
Yes, constructive criticism is something that we all, I think it's a skill set that we all need, right? I think that with constructive criticism, it can cause people to have a loving, positive relationship. And I believe that if done correctly, you will be happy in your relationship also. Given the example about the woman with the 3 children, 3 different fathers, even though I'm not in that situation, I can relate to it, right? Because
Right.
I am a mother of 3 children and 2 different fathers, right? The first set of children was with my previous husband, and then the last child, his father passed away when he was only 3. So leaving me in a situation where here it is now I'm a single parent. And also, let's just say that for the sake of including everyone into the conversation, John, that you can still be in marriage and still live a life of singleness, right?
Yes.
You can still be in a position where you can be married. Say if you had 3 children and 3 marriages, you still could be in a raising those children by yourselves. So that's why I like what Abby says, don't judge.
Yeah. We listen and we don't judge.
You listen, but we don't judge, right? And so that's it, because you don't know a person's situation. You don't know the backstory of that person. And yes, according to this example, she made some poor choices, right? She made poor choices. She got with the first guy, it didn't work out. She didn't grow from the situation. She didn't learn from the situation to say, well, I don't need to make this mistake again, right?
Right.
And not saying that we're calling children a mistake, but the situation itself may
Mm.
not have been a good choice for her
Right.
and the future children.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that yeah, it's hard to hear. You know, when you're in that kind of situation, it is very hard to hear those things. But as you said, every wound needs a prescription, and hey, you got to take that medicine.
Yeah, exactly.
You
And
must take the
sometimes it
medicine.
mightn't taste good. I don't like Buckley's, but it's good for me on the cold.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a bitter taste. I probably
yeah.
take some rum and lemon juice and ginger and drink than take Buckley's. You know,
Yes,
it's a better
exactly.
combination for me. And
Or you
sometimes
know, or it might be the bitters. You know, the bitters.
exactly. So it is what it is, and a lot of times when it's in relationship, there is things that may not be right for the man or for the woman. Yeah,
Yes,
but we don't want to hurt each other's feelings, so we try to avoid the confrontation. Try not to come across as negative or pessimistic. You know, always complaining. You know, he always bugging me or she always bugging me kind of thing. And you know something the reaction you get when you try once, twice, three times, you know, you get this negative reaction. Say, you know what, I'm not trying anymore. Or let it be. Whatever it is, let it be, right? And
right,
that in itself is detrimental because you become withdrawn. That or the wife or the husband can become withdrawn. And before you know it, everybody just go their own way. And they start dwindling away. You live together, but you're not together, kind of thing. You know? And we stay together for the children's sake. We stay together because we can't afford to live by ourselves. It costs too much, you know. So a number of factors may come in place. I think Daniela said last week that most wives and most girlfriends check out 2 years before they really leave.
yeah,
You know, because one, they don't want to confront, they don't want to make no major adjustment that will affect the relationship in a way that they had to leave prematurely. So even though they check out it, like it's like Hotel California, they're checking out, but they don't leave. And she said, I think one of you said that women calculate they move. They don't just move for moving sake.
mhm.
They plan they move 2, 3 years ahead, you
Oh
know?
yeah, oh
And
yeah,
so they plan when they're gonna move. With a man, he just get up and he goes go. He don't care. He does any put for a storm. He gone. You know what I mean? But a man who have a lot to lose, who understand and want family, he don't just get up and walk away from family. He might look for
right,
solutions. You know, he might look for ways and means to fix. Even though it takes a long time, he find in methods of communication and suddenly exhaust himself trying to communicate sexually, communicate socially, financially, and otherwise, and not reciprocating. So for him, he get exhausted and just lie low. Nothing else, nothing. He just keep going with the flow. He finds himself preoccupied with other things instead of confronting the elephant in the room again. Because the elephant not responding. You know? So would you do if you can you constructively try to confront a situation in a marriage? What kind of approach will you take to land a constructive confrontation?
hmm. Well, you know, as you said previously when we first started, you gotta be patient, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stay calm, listen to the situation.
Mm.
Sometimes it's hard to sit and listen to a situation, John, especially when from the get-go, from the
Mm.
beginning, the person has the wrong situation. They have prejudged the situation and the
Mm.
scenario is wrong,
Right.
right? It
Mm.
might be wrong. And they don't give you a chance to even explain what the situation is. And in their mindset, they're thinking it's one way and it's real in all reality, it's a different way. And like you were saying, you can prejudge the situation and then cause it to, get out of hand, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so I think the best thing to do is first of all tell the person, hey, I would like to have a constructive conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that we even talking about this because I'm gonna have to do the same thing with another individual
Mm.
on tomorrow. So this is gonna give me good practice. uh,
To confront
figure out what I'm gonna say
constructively.
exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, constructively, right? And so I think the best thing for us to do is to listen
And don't
and to
judge.
see what's going, to
Listen and
be in
don't judge.
reason,
Mm-hmm.
be in reason with that person, right? And just see how it goes, right? Hear both sides. And if that person is a person that is confrontational, loud, and as they say, strong and wrong, right? Then you have to pull back a little bit and
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, I'm going to listen to you, but once you're finished, then please, by all means, let me
Mm-hmm.
uh have my say as well. That way we both are heard,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then we can come to a conclusion, or we can
Right.
come to a reasonable solution for this situation. Oftentimes you find that one or maybe two persons really don't want a resolution. Hmm?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They just want out.
Right.
And we can talk about that, a resolution versus being out. I just want out of the situation. So therefore, I don't care to hear. And you hear people say that too in confrontation. I don't care. How many times that word is thrown out? I don't care. I don't care. Well, in order for you to have a constructive criticism, you must care, right? You can't tell the person that I don't care, because it may give an impression that, what's the purpose of having this conversation or trying to come up with a resolution if you're not caring? If you don't care, that means you're out of the situation. You want out. You don't care to put anything further into it to make sure that it ensures that it works. Yeah.
Listen and we don't judge.
We
Right?
listen and don't
Don't
judge.
judge. Please love, like, and share this, guys. I just share again. Keep sharing the stuff, so folks could come on this live and we listening and don't judge tonight. So,
Can we can you send it?
they are saying to you already. I think I
Okay.
did. What in your WhatsApp? Check your WhatsApp.
Okay, cool.
I resend it. Yeah. Veronica. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I did send it. Yeah, send it
Okay, I
again.
got it.
Yeah, you got it. Okay,
Yes.
beautiful. Yeah, we listen and we don't judge. Um, so what do we do here? Now, a lot of times we have situation in marriages that rotten to the core, okay, and we try to band-aid the situation by using many other excuses why we can't do it, why this is not happening, and so on. And one person is hurting and the other one is just going around having a good time, inside or outside the marriage. And it become painful one way or the other. Yes? So how do you confront without confrontation? So let me read what he says here. Delaying confrontation simply encourages further growth of bad habits. It is viewed as acceptance of of the situation. When the whole thing suddenly blows up with no warning, the perpetrator may be shocked that his or her behavior was of any concern to anyone, because no one ever mentioned anything about it. And that's one of the things. If you don't state your concerns and address it, it may just fester and drop like a sore and run like a sore, because you did not address it. And the person think it's okay and they keep doing it, go ahead, keep doing it. And keep doing what they're doing because nobody never tell them it's wrong. You know?
Basically.
It's like a child who keep screaming every time they go to the mall, but you never tell them about who I'm home. We don't scream anymore, we don't shout anymore, we walk politely. And when you in the mall and they start disrespecting you, you start to fix them there. Where you doing the fixing at home. Right?
Right.
So, what's my point? Deal with it diligently when you see it happening. And perhaps as a child, some people, even adults, have selective hearing. They hear but they ignore you. Yes? And
Yes.
even though you make that clarion call for change, attention, like a child sometimes would, the husband may or the wife may making that call. And most women have make subliminal changes, notes, and expect the man to read the mind. Yes? And so we're not very good at we're not psychotherapists to read the minds in most cases. We don't have most men don't have women intuition to figure out what you're saying. Like I said, if your wife tell you to leave the house, don't go out, go and lock up yourself in the bedroom. Because if you leave me, you will come back. You know what I mean?
John, it's interesting you to say that because I was thinking just the opposite. Because we as women, we can have a conversation with you and we can say one thing,
I mean,
and then you'll come back and say that we said something totally different, and we're like, no, that's not what we said. That's not what I said. I said this, and it brings clarity, right? But in your mind, it's like you're not listening, right? You're not listening to the words. You're in your mind. You're coming up with your own prejudging.
You're listening and listening and judging in that case.
You're listening to your own thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your own thoughts and not thoughts of the other person.
So a lot of times, yes, okay, we're prejudging, we're listening and we're judging at the same time. But so the rule here tonight, we listen and we don't judge.
We listen and we don't judge.
And we don't judge. And let the person finish the conversation. Let us finish what they're saying. Let the wife finish what she's saying. Let the husband finish what he's saying. And don't interrupt mentally, because you're not interrupting in your mind by prejudging what they might finish saying. And you between listening, you're judging. Yes, and before they finish say what they're saying, you have an opinion. And I'm waiting for the full sentence to come to a close. So we listen and we start judging. So my advice to couples tonight, listen, but don't judge.
Yes.
Listen, but don't judge. And so a lot of times we have sexual relationship problem, we have money problems, we have the basic communication problem. And the basic communication problem is that we hear but we don't listen. Because we talk. Talking is not communication. It's just speech. Yes. Communication is the key to communication is listening to what the other person is saying. So
we want to be heard, but not.
Yes,
we don't listen.
Just don't listen, and that's a big problem because sometimes you could be listening to somebody, right? But you're focusing on something else too. So, for example, if I'm with you talking to you out somewhere out and I have my phone on, my phone ring, my question is not to answer the phone while I'm talking to you. The person in front of me is the most important person. That's why when I go to stores and the phone ring, and the person talking to me behind the counter and the phone will pick it up, and like if I don't exist anymore. This is bad communication.
Yes.
You should me first, let the call go to someone else. I'll say, excuse me, let me take the call. And when you pick up the call, you put the person on hold. Say, I'm talking to a customer right now. Can I call you back? I just kind of wait for 5 minutes. When they come and do it, instead of totally ignoring me, I'm standing in front of waiting for you to deal with me. I see it happening in a lot of places ago. Customer service is so disrespectful. Customer service people, they drop you like a hot loaf and don't pick you up for a long time.
You know what I mean? John, and I'm glad you said that too, because most people, especially, and I learned that maybe the younger generation, right, don't get it, right? They don't get it that the person in front of them comes first. The phone can wait, right? And not only handling that person who is in front of you, right? Make it personal, right? Don't be so quick to say, oh, okay, I got other people ahead of you. I'm behind you. I've got other people on the phone. Make it quick. No. Customer service is very important when we're dealing with other people, right? Yeah. Because especially when you're paying for a service, right? You're paying for that service and you want quality service, but people don't always listen to, and it's like a waitress taking your order. It's like a waitress taking your order and getting the order wrong.
Yeah, because you're focusing on something else, not on you.
Exactly. And so it could cause greater harm, right? Yes. It could cause conflict. And so we want to avoid that. And it's the same thing in our relationships. It's best for us to listen, pay attention, and pay attention in the sense that we're listening to find out information versus listening to make our own, conclusion of it.
See, most people have a problem with confrontation. And confrontation could take a lot of different levels. Yeah?
Yes.
And how do you confront a situation that need to be confronted peacefully with no harm? Now, having said that, you can make all attempts to have a peaceful confrontation, but your delivery might be wrong. Your method, your approach could be wrong. It could be it's like trying to fly a plane and land at the airport that you're always landing at. Now you're taking now your approach on the same runway based on wind speed. You know what I mean? When you take off, the wind speed are different. When you come into land, it's a different wind. You're going against the wind now, but going with the wind. Yes? So how do I confront a new situation because I'm coming from a different angle now? And I had to try different angles, but which angle might be the best angle? When is the best time to approach the situation that you may have to deal with? And that may require some skills, some maneuvering skills, how to. That's why one of the things I think the Bible talks about in marriage is, and we spoke to it last week, when it relates to loving somebody and divorcing the person that you love, not because you hate them, because you cannot understand them.
Right.
Lack of knowledge. Because Bob might be coming home late, and it never seems to why Bob comes home late, and you fly up every time Bob comes home late. You don't ask them, Bob, why you come so late? But if you ask him, it creates a problem. Your approach might be different. You know?
Yes.
And
that's why the Bible says, in all that get an understanding.
Get understanding, right? Exactly.
You must ask questions in order to get an understanding. But what if the person, John, doesn't like questions?
Well, you don't like question. You don't have to question him in the wrong time. You see, for example, if I want to make an appointment with you for 2:00 on Friday, right?
Okay.
I will not tell you I want an appointment with you on Friday. Now, I could do two things. I could say, what are you doing Friday? And I say, well, I have nothing to do Friday. So then, how about you and I meeting Friday at 2:00 or 4:00? Now, you forgot every other time on the clock, but your concentration is 2 and 4. Right? And I think, okay. 2:00 is best. Here is something else. You have 7 days in the week. I need to have a meeting with you to just go over some plans. Would Monday be good or Wednesday be better?
Yeah.
Right? So you may go to the last one because the word better resonates more with you than just Monday or Tuesday is better.
Right.
So you fix it and Tuesday is better. The word better captivate your imagination. You think, oh yeah, Tuesday a better day. You don't think about Wednesday and Thursday and Friday again. You got two options. So when you have to talk to somebody, I want to talk to you about this and that. Which one you want to talk to you about first? You understand what I'm saying? So psychologically, you're putting the person in a mood to receive from you what you want them to say. What you want to say.
Yes.
Right? And then they say, well, I want to talk about this first and that first and that. All right? And where would it be best to be talking to you about that? Over dinner or watching a movie?
Right. And John, let's also say too, in this scenario that you're giving, you're talking about two people who want to communicate.
Yes.
Right. But when there is a conflict involved, right? When there's a conflict involved, one of the parties may not be so forthcoming.
Right.
Right. And so the conversation needs to be had. However, they may not be ready for the conversation.
Right. And that's why sometimes you don't strike the iron while it's hot. Okay. You know what I'm saying? You don't do that because sometimes hot heads and cool hearts don't work together.
Right.
You know, you gotta get two cool heads to work because a hot head and a cool head ain't gonna work, period.
Right.
So then, again, and let me say this to men sometimes because women have different moods and at different times. You got to know when the best mood to talk to her about certain things because it's not going to work a certain time in the month for her. She don't want to listen to your period. You understand? She's not going to take you on. Again, the man, if you come in tired, you don't want to talk about nothing. So you have to, that's what I'm saying, you have to learn how to approach to learn your confrontation. You understand? Because if you go in, it's like Dr. Charles Stanley was saying this evening, Some people like touch communication. Some people like food communication. You know? So you know this girl love food. Say, hey, what are you doing this evening? Let's go get some food outside. You know that she like that. You don't bring flowers to her because she don't want flowers. She want to be give him some food. You have a child, and he every time you come and give him a toy, and you go about the business, and he say, Dad, I don't want a toy. I want to talk to you. You see? So even children have their method of communication. What they want, what they desire from you. No, the question is what your wife desire from you, what your husband desire from you. Maybe bringing flowers. She say, yeah, every time I get in flowers, I can have a flower shop by now. What I want is to have your attention. I want to talk with you. And spend
Right.
some quality time with you. But you're bringing flowers every time I go about the business. You go and watch TV. You know, she don't want the flowers. Flowers become redundant. She
Right.
want to she
Exactly.
want talk, she want touch, she want hug, she want you know what I mean? Whereas the other wife or the other woman want a bag. She want to be touched, she want to be handled. You know what I mean? So different people, you have to know how to deal with different people. And if you live with somebody for a long time, you will understand how that person move.
Great.
What they
Yeah.
for example, I know my wife don't like loud noises. Okay? So if you're watching TV, I put it on a low vibe where she's there. Now, if I'm there, I have my music, I blast my music loud for myself. When she comes in, I say, hey, you know, out of respect, I gotta turn this thing down. You know what I mean? So
Right.
and we wouldn't have the confrontation. So when you know your partner, you can avoid confrontations, unnecessary confrontation. Like don't
Yeah.
need, except when you want to walk away. You want a reason to leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know she don't let you do it, and that's why a lot of times you never expose your weakness to people. Okay, it could be taken advantage of.
That's
Right? Your
true.
vulnerability could be exploited by your partner or anybody for that matter. So if I know you
So,
always
are
get
you saying, John, it's not good to expose your weakness to your partner, your
well,
lifelong
yes,
partner?
yes and no because sometimes they use it against you if she's not wise enough. An unwise woman uses it against you instead of trying to fix you and help you with your weakness. That's how your weakness become her strength. You know.
Okay. Mhm.
So that's why the Bible talk about foolish woman will tear down her house, right? But a wise woman build it up. And not building it up, not building the physical structure, but the relationship. Your relationship, your communication level with your partner. So let me just read another thing what you guys say here. This delaying confrontation simply encourages further growth of bad habits, right?
Mhm.
It is viewed as acceptance of the situation. That's when you ignore it. Okay? When the whole thing suddenly blows up with no warning, the perpetrator may be shocked that his or her behavior was of any concern to anyone because no one ever mentioned anything about it. Most of us have problems with confrontation. We
Yes.
don't like to confront people because we like things to run smoothly. That sounds like John Callis. We may be afraid of losing the debate. I'm not afraid to lose the debate. Damaging the relationship or losing favor with the other person. Well, I'm not afraid to lose anything. I just don't want to have the problem have to be you tell the person something and they then take it personally and then they become hostile and they become living in a hostile situation. But okay, a losing favor with another person. We know that confrontation is not going to be comfortable. No confrontation will be comfortable, no matter how you put it, right?
Right.
Either for us or for the perpetrator. And so we put it off, hoping that things will magically change on their own. They don't. They don't change on their own. Except that they generally continue to deteriorate by itself. Right? However,
Mhm.
any healthy relationship has to survive confrontation. In a positive situation, people appreciate loving correction and see it as an opportunity for growth. The key is making sure that your confrontations are approached with wisdom so that they are constructive rather than destructive. You see, so that goes. So one of the things here, right? confrontation is not going to be comfortable for nobody.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay? No, so that's where your confrontation must be with wisdom.
Yes.
There is wisdom when confronting your partner or anything. Because sometimes, I think there's a situation in the Bible, I think it's in not Ecclesiastes, in Leviticus, where a man accused his wife of having an affair. And in that case, you take her to the high priest and give her ashes water to drink. And if she barely swells, then it proved that yes, she was having an affair.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
so yes, that was something that so if you don't in this modern era, you don't know if your wife is having an affair, your husband is having an affair. What would you do? You could have assumptions of many different things. Yeah.
Yes.
So you could say she doing this, or say he doing this, or say she doing this, she doing that. He said, she said, he said, she said, she did this, she did that, and all you're doing in one case, if you start thinking that and you start verbalizing it, it becomes confrontational. Now, how do you approach someone to talk to them about that situation? If you assume that they are having an affair, if you assume that things are not the way it used to be, how do you speak to them about it? Right? So your how would make all the difference. So
Mm.
sometimes it's important to seek wise counsel before you ask questions. How do I, hey, Veronica, I have this problem here. How do I approach that? As a woman, how do I approach my wife with this? And how do I approach how do I approach my husband about that? So sometimes it just need a little bit of talking, to approach.
Mm.
So you have to use wisdom. You don't use
Yes.
you'll be unwise in confronting your partner about things.
Right.
You have to
Right.
use wisdom and watch and look and learn. I remember growing up, there was a book in the library full of pictures, and the title of the book was "Look and Learn." Yes, so you look and you learn. And tonight I'm saying we're listening, but we don't judge. We're not judging.
Yes.
And
Yes.
sometimes you allow people to speak before you start judging. So how do
Yeah.
you approach that? It makes
Right.
all the difference.
John, you were talking earlier about, finding someone to talk about. And James 5:16, it says, confess your trespasses to one another and pray for the other, right? That
Mm-hmm.
you may be healed. The effective fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. You talk about confessing your sins to someone who can give you the best approach to talk to a spouse about an affair, right? And
Mm-hmm.
perhaps that person, especially we as believers, right? We as believers, we go to other believers that are in our situation, right? If we're
Mm-hmm.
married, then we may go to another woman or man to say, what is the best way for me to approach this person? What do you suggest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is best to get counsel without first prayer with God, right? First prayer with God, and then you may go to another person and say, hey, what do you think is the best approach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you may say, okay, well, let me use that approach, or let me, think of another scenario. Maybe that would not be the best approach, right? And of course, like you said, I love what you said when you said, make an appointment. What are you doing for this Friday? Find out what the person likes to do that's going to keep them engaged, right? Offer them an opportunity to go do that particular thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course make time to talk, right? Can we
Yeah.
just have a few minutes? And sometimes, you can have a lovely day, and sometimes just a matter of clearing up certain things in a conversation, clearing up
Mm-hmm.
certain things in a confrontation that you may have had previous, just to clear things up and say, oh, well, I thought this. And no, you didn't, you never mentioned that, right?
Right.
And sometimes it's just a miscommunication. Most times it's miscommunication. You don't know what's going on. You assume. And when we start assuming, John, oh my gosh, we go, as my sister would say, all in left field.
Assumptions is the mother of all screwed up, right?
Yes, yes. We go in left field and we can think, especially we as women, we can actually think of 1,000 scenarios in our minds to what you are doing, who you're talking to. even down to, your what you have to say to that person. Our imaginations can go wild with us. And of course, we need clarity, and both men and women need clarity in a relationship in order for it to work. If it's a scenario that you're not aware of, right? You're not aware of, and because the person hasn't expressed themselves to you, it is best to communicate with that person and say, hey, I need some clarity on this, I need clarity on that. And I heard today on a podcast that they said, if when you ask a person a question and they don't answer it, know that that's the answer too. It needs careful attention, right? It needs to be looked at and analyzed in a careful way, because that person is deliberately not answering you because they're not ready for that conversation, or maybe perhaps they don't want to expose themselves, right? And so we have to look at that too. And if the person is not ready to communicate, do we schedule another time? Do we
Yeah,
revisit?
actually, give you some time, but I want to piggyback on something you said.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when people ask you a question, they already figure the answer, a predetermined answer for your response. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you guys are really good at that, women, asking men question with an answer already in your head. Want to hear what our
Know the
response going to
answer.
be? Yes.
We know the
So,
answer before we
yes,
ask.
and when we answer, I knew it, and they catch you, kind of moment, you know. So men have to think as fast as the woman asks the question. Pause. Don't answer immediately. Never answer immediately, because one thing you answer immediately, you show her that you didn't think, because women love thinkers. You
Yeah.
didn't think. You just because you're trying to appease her, so you answer right away. You don't want to do that. And so fellas, don't answer right away. Think the question through, because she already figure what you're gonna answer, what you're gonna say already. She know in her mind already. I know what John gonna say,
We're
right?
just waiting. We're just
Wi-
waiting to hear it.
and to nail you to the cross, you know. So you have to think your way through questions before you answer. I see a lot of politicians getting into trouble with this. They ask questions by reporters, and they jump to, instead of thinking the answer right away. And it wasn't a follow-up question come, they couldn't support the first answer. They didn't think it through. You know? Either, and sometimes you don't try to avoid them, but at the time you don't have the stats in front of you to prove anything. So before you open them out, you gotta think your time through. Because you part of the person you with. You want to spend some quality time with them, and they're trying to figure out if you're really interested in spending time with them. Are you are they a priority to you or not? And then I ask you a question like that, and you say, "Yeah," right away, right? And they think, "No, no, that is too quick. You didn't think it." So it's always good to back up, look them in the eyes, and think. You know, you kind of give a pause, and then give an answer. It's almost like you thought it through if you're answering.
Of
Right.
course.
And in any situation, whether it's a male or female, don't answer immediately. I have learned
Mhm.
that many years ago in the military. Like sometimes you have to respond in kind, but before you respond, think of the situation before you get into it. You see a situation occurring, right? For example, I do step by step security. So when I'm walking with a minister, walking right, any ministers, for example, he and I might be talking, or he and me and somebody talking. I'm focused on the people around me. I pay attention to everything that goes on around me. While I'm driving, I'm paying attention to everything ahead of me before I get to the point where I would pass. You know. So when you're with somebody, just the person in front of you. Yes, that's your main responsibility. But everything around you have to come into play. You have to pay attention to it.
Yes.
So don't
Yes.
don't just answer without evaluating the thought process of that person, where the question coming from. What's the root for the question? What's the motive behind that question? What is he, and why is he asking? Why is she asking that question? Right? And you say, well, you're not answering. Yeah, not answering yet. Hold on. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to jump up and say, yeah, that is the reason. And then, oh, okay. Okay.
Well, I think it's good to say to a person if they ask a question and you're not ready to respond, you might can say, "Well, give me a few minutes or give me some time to think about
Right.
what I want to say." It's okay to say that versus not saying anything at all.
Yeah. But
At least,
yeah, you have to at least respond, but sometimes you don't respond to the question. It seems as you're evading the question. Why do you analyzing the question?
right,
So the
exactly.
difference between evading and analyzing. Because in the moment, you don't want to jump to conclusion. You don't want to jump to open up your mouth and then boom. What you know they have a saying, mouth open, word jump out. From the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Well,
Hmm.
if the heart have a lot, go to the files, go to the hard drive and choose question which answer you want to how you want to answer. You know, pull the answer from your hard drive, not from your mouth.
Right, right.
Take it from your heart. Because the truth is our subconscious person is fully awake and alive in us. The
Mm,
heart of our heart is fully alive. Sometimes we don't consult it, we just stop.
right,
But it's
right.
important to consult your heart. Go deep inside of you and pull out what you really want to say. Because it's there. You know,
Yeah.
I remember a couple years ago, a brother was asking me some questions about my relationship with God and all that stuff, right? Yeah, and about the Bible and stuff. And before I answered him, we keep walking and he say, what happened? I say, hold on. You know? And when I give him the answer, he said that couldn't come from you. I said, what do you mean? He said, the Holy Spirit must have told you that. I said, why? He said, he didn't answer immediately. I said, why should I answer immediately? You know, when I have a source to go to for the answer. So as I'm walking with him and the question come out, I just consult my heart,
Mm-hmm.
which is my spirit man, to answer it. So
Right.
I know the scripture verse, I know anything when he's talking about the Bible and everything. So he asked the question from to feel how grounded I am, how much I know the word,
Mm,
you know. So
yeah.
when Peter was confronted and they asking just who do men say I am, and everybody getting all kind of stuff, Peter come with a different answer. And what Jesus said to him, flesh and blood will reveal that to you.
Right,
But the other
right,
12, the other 11, flesh and blood reveal it to them. Because they heard what other people saying, but he said, Jesus, what do you think I am? What do you think I am? Or who do you
right,
think I am?
right. Who do you say that I
Right? And
am?
Peter go in and said, you know, the Son of God. You know what I mean? And he said, on this rock I will build my church.
Oh yeah.
Right? So at the end of the day, you don't just answer because you feel to answer, but to appease to that person. But you go deep inside of you and answer. Because depending on
Right.
your answer, you could create a confrontation.
Yes.
Right?
And
So you want,
also too, John, let's talk about the fact that if you don't provide an answer, eventually it's going to cause a confrontation as well. Let's
right.
talk about that.
So in that case, in that scenario, then, if you don't answer immediately, say, "Honey," and let's say husband, wife, "Honey, can I just think about it for a moment?" That's an answer to the question, right? A partial answer to the question, right? Instead of no answer at all, say, that's a very good question, right? Well, let me think about it before I answer. So if you have to be walking back and forth or doing something, you give a person a waiting period in the
Hmm.
moment. So she knows that you get her that you get in. If she had your attention, you don't just ignoring,
So,
right?
John, in the scenario that you gave about the affair, right?
Mm,
Approaching a person in the marriage about an affair, and
mm,
you go and you talk to them and you say, "Hey, this is what I'm thinking has happened, and
mm,
I need to know if this is true,
mm,
if this is what's been going on. That I have noticed ABC
mm,
about you and the changes, and just looking at your absence, the communication is not there. You
mm,
see like your distance. When you
mm,
go and approach a person like that,
mm.
is it better to and what if they don't give you the answer, as you say, right away? Is that one of those questions that
Yes,
needs an
yes,
immediate
yes, yes.
response?
Because nobody want to be caught with their pants down. You know what I'm saying?
So would
Because
you recommend a person think about that or respond
well,
immediately?
yeah, I would say because if the one that been assuming that that your spouse is doing this, they might get offense to it immediately. The one thing about people who do those things, they get offended real quick when that comes out,
Of course.
right? What are you thinking? What do you think? Who think I am? They start to again. So I say, no, 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 honey. This is not the situation. This is what happened. This is what happened. And it let time. Like I always say this: people of integrity expect to be believed. When they are not, they let time prove them right.
Right.
Yes. So
Yes.
if he or she is not cheating on you, and you assume based on the change of activities, the change of concern towards you, the change of ignoring you for things that they used to do, they no longer do it anymore, right?
Mm,
The attention they used to give, they don't give you anymore, right? You realize
right.
there's a change in atmosphere. So you keep watching the situation, not saying anything, go about your daily life, everything. You're waiting for the situation to play off. You could do that too. Just don't say nothing, watch it play off, and when it comes like come to a thing where you eventually figure it out, that's what happening. You will say, look, that's the situation. Now I have proof that you have an affair, right?
Hmm.
This is now they'll get really mad, or they'll say, honey, I didn't mean to do that. This is what happened. This is that. And all the excuses are coming from the excuse book, right?
Exactly.
So all the excuses start opening up, and they start thinking, oh, I get caught here, right? So they start
Mm.
realizing now you're on to them now. They start becoming more cautious of their steps.
Oh
So
yeah.
one, they may not leave the relationship, right? Two, they might scale back the activities that they are doing to make you suspicious of them. And if they are scaled back, then you realize yes, they always have never, you know what I mean? And
Right.
if like, you see they have the thing cheaters. You ever see cheaters?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so the brother suspect his wife having an affair, or the woman for her husband having an affair. He gets somebody to follow them around, private eyes,
Yeah.
and they take pictures, videos, and eventually they walk up to the place, the last place they go up having a boat, and they see them. Oh, why you bring this camera here? Why you have to do that? Why didn't you tell me about it? You've been doing it all along. I asked you
Yeah.
about it, you say nothing going on. But I had my
Right.
suspicion. So
Right.
from 8 o'clock in the morning, I have my PI working on you, you know, right? For
Exactly.
1 week,
Yeah.
right?
And that's all it takes.
That's all it takes. And then boom, here's the video. What's going
Right.
on here?
Yeah.
I see people put trackers in the husband car, in the wife car. You know, it's a lot of work to do, right?
Do you think
And
that's right, John, to put a tracker on
well,
your spouse vehicle?
I do not fully um, um, endorse that. But if that makes you comfortable and secure, so be it. You know,
Yeah,
that
I don't totally agree with it.
if that give you peace of
Because
mind, because sometimes you don't you're troubled by what is going on, by changing
Mhm.
activities. So you want to before you make any move, sudden move, you want to make sure that that is not what's going on. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So you report. You don't want them to report to you. You get any false information by tracking. Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
you have its good and you have its bad. Yeah.
Yes.
Some wife bug the husband's cell phone unknowing because there's devices or they could do that. So all calls come to her or come to him. Every text and every picture is come to her phone or his phone. So they see everything that is exchanged between you and somebody else. So
Mm.
cheating is almost not it become what do you say a no escape zone for some people. So
Right.
you gotta be careful what to chat with on the person on the phone. If perhaps you have to make up codes on this to not decipher. I remember um,
What do you mean by make up codes? Explain that, John.
communication codes, right?
Uh-huh.
For example, a lot of people. I remember on work, me and a friend on work, right? We was communicating with numbers. Yeah,
How does
numbers.
that how does that work exactly?
Well, you use the alphabet, but you use the numbers as the numbers in the alphabet.
Oh wow. I would have never thought of that. That's
So
definitely a man's thing.
I could start from zeta, zetas being one. I could start from the middle, go back, go down, and then the top come down as numbering.
Oh
No,
wow.
it, it, it,
And we
it,
as
it
ladies
just
say, how about walk with me to the bathroom?
yeah, you guys have other things of doing. So you can write
That's
a
our
whole
code. That's our code for saying I need to talk to you.
exactly. So everybody has the method of communication. Um,
Yeah.
so you could do that. You could write 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 10, 1, 10, 6, 5. All this stuff, and so the person knowing the alphabet know what this represent, or two, what 10 represent, what A represent, and their list they have before them. So when they go to it to read, they know what you know that means. So if they come with a comma, you have key to constructive thing, and all the numbers fit inside it, so you know what the numbers is, so you to read it. But it takes a while to learn all those things.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so what you have to have ways and means to do. I think the best way to do it is to confront the person personally. You know, the
Is it
the
best to confront them face
yeah,
on,
yeah.
or
I think
through
so.
a letter, or
No, I
through
think I think a face-to-face conversation is best. So you get to
oh,
watch the person in the eyes.
right? And
And
should it be over the phone? Can it
no,
be
no,
over the
no,
phone?
no, no, no. Comfortable phone
It's
is
the face.
cowardice. That's cowardice. I believe that you have to build enough courage to confront the person and ask questions, because you will know situation happening around you. You will see behavior pattern changes. It's like I can identify a woman who has been abused if I've been around
Mhm.
for a long time. I even have not been around for a long time, right? Our conversation will tell me that you have been through some stuff, right? If I see you
Right.
wearing glasses or wearing over time, I see you wearing long sleeve when you should be wearing short sleeve, I know something happening. Why you all wearing long sleeve like that? It's hot outside. No, it's summertime. Why you wearing that? You know what I mean? You wear your sunglasses inside the building. It's dark in here. What you want to, except when you have a reverse a UV ray light, whatever it is in the glasses. But other to that, you got to ask. And if
Right.
your spouse is doing certain things, you could tell by the actions, or inaction. Yeah. So you
Mhm.
confront them. So those little nuggets you could figure out for yourself. I mean, my military experiences allow me to see a lot of things, and don't say nothing sometimes. Like I always say to my wife and I say something. I say, now because I don't say anything, I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? I say it all the time. Now because I don't say anything doesn't mean I don't know what's going on. All right? So I
Exactly.
give them a lot. I'm aware. You know what I mean? Of
Yes.
what's going on. Everything. I am aware of it. Probably I might miss a few. You know what I mean? But
Right. And like you were saying earlier, we as women sometimes ask the question with already the answer in
yeah,
mind, right?
yeah.
And basically, sometimes a person may just want to hear the confession from your mouth. They already have
Exactly.
information, but just need the confirmation.
Yes,
And
yes.
so, I think it's important that
Mm.
effective communication is going forth with both persons, and you can get a resolution from the confrontation, that it doesn't go unsolved. Many times it goes unsolved because the person refused to answer. The
Mm.
person refused to give clarity to the situation. And
Mm-hmm.
most times people go their separate ways. You agree, John? They go
Yes,
their
yes,
separate
yes,
ways because they
yes,
don't
yes.
want to answer
Yeah,
the question. And
exactly.
you could actually separate from somebody and still love them, right?
Oh
Still
yeah,
love, but
all the
did not
time.
get the clarity, did not get the information that you needed.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, you dealing with a situation where, what do? You can't confront the air. You can't confront, you
Now,
know.
people, sometimes people don't want to be approached. They don't want to be talked to about this stuff,
Mhm.
because sometimes they're on the way out already, so they
Right.
don't want to be bothered. You
They don't
become
want to be bothered. Yes.
you are not important anymore. I have moved on. I just here. I moved on already. You know, and a lot of times it happens like that in relationship. Person move on, but they just here. It's like checking out in the Hotel California, but they never leave.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they keep singing and dancing the same song with you, but they dancing as a reciter. You know what I mean?
Right,
They're on the
right.
way out. They're dancing the way away from you. So you
Right.
have to you have to start thinking otherwise. You know, is this dance
Mm.
forever? Is just dance for a moment?
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
yeah, they're about to change partners on the dance floor. You
Right.
just
And you know, and in the situation like that, John,
mm,
I think it's easier, especially for us women, if the
mm,
men are honest.
mm.
If you're actually dancing away, you got somebody else in mind, why not just say it?
Well, like I
Just say
said,
it.
the checking out both in both ways. The checking out is based on circumstances. They just want to leave without knowing where they really want to settle. If the other end
Mm.
is not finalized yet. You understand? Because
Oh,
sometimes
wow.
sometimes okay, she want to leave, but the person she's with, he has a wife. He had to wait until he move away from that wife before we move out, I move away from my husband and move with you, and vice versa.
And
So
see, that's the thing. That's
it's a
where the
game.
communication comes in at. And
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes, if you start, my mom always said, if you start off right, Veronica, you end up right. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I don't mind having that honest conversation with anybody. I don't care who you are. I'll
Right.
have an honest conversation with you. And if I feel like the relationship is not conducive to what I have going on in my life, and I feel like, you have a negative approach to life, and I want to get away from that, I'm even the type of person, I'll have that conversation with you, and I'll give you, as you said, the uh, positive criticism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Constructive criticism. I'll say to you, well, I believe that the reason this relationship did not work because you did ABC, and I believe this is what you need to do to correct it, right? I don't mind,
Mm-hmm.
but most time men do not give the feedback. They don't. And women take that same approach, not knowing that it could be a trigger for one person.
Mm-hmm.
And here it is, you taking it into another situation. And, I'm learning now that men look at things much different than we as women, right? And, when I hear the conversations that some men have, I say, wow, is that the way men really think? Like,
Yeah.
wow, who would have ever thought? Who would have ever imagined, right?
Mm-hmm.
You talk about reasoning, logical thinking. You think about all of that versus emotion. And we as women, we are emotional beings, right?
Yeah.
And we want to hear the long story. We want to hear the details of the matter, whereas you men are just so cut and dry and
Yeah. You got want
straight to the
details.
point.
Paint the picture for me to see. Give me the whole detail. I want to have this story. I want all the stories. Yeah.
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly.
So that's
You know,
that's 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 one of the things that men cut the chase. Women want to prolong the chase. You know what I mean?
yes, yes.
So it is something that either party would have to sit down and seriously talk to each other about. I don't see no harm in talking and exchanging reasons why we do what we do. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So like I often say, if you have a problem, tell me what the problem is, so I could fix it. Then you just slide. Because if I don't learn what's wrong with me, I go to the next person. I have the same problem. I may not know about it. Yeah.
Right.
And I keep going. I wondering why it don't last. Why it don't last? Sometimes might be my breath that is stinking. I just can't take it, and you leave. You know,
Right. And then
it could be my shoes that stinks in the night when I come to take off my shoes and you just can't deal with my stink shoes. You know, probably the way I cook, get too much salt in. I don't say anything. I don't like your food. I start eating outside. You know, so there's a number of things that will cause a lot of things to happen, but
yes,
confronting the problem in a non-confrontational way is key to
it's key. Yeah.
to the longevity of the relationship. I think it's easy. It's nice to have fun communicating in a confrontational way, but not being uncomfortably confrontational. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because like I said, everybody have the level of tolerance to accept
Right.
criticism, constructive criticism. And let me say this because sometimes, even though the criticism is constructive, the delivery may not be proper.
Right.
Yes? So, bad delivery. If you see you have a good product coming from Amazon and it's well wrapped inside, but the packaging on the side looks like it's dull damage, would you accept it?
No.
Even though what's inside is really good, but delivery is bad.
Right. Correct.
You will not accept it. You report it, say the package is damaged, all thing. But when you open it, if really when you open it, the product inside is really good, and that's how something communication has to be. You have to be careful how you communicate your feelings or your concern with your partner.
And as I said earlier, that's a skill set that we all must learn because it doesn't come natural for a lot of people.
I did a course many years ago called Communicating in Business, right? And it also resonates with how you treat your relationship as a business in the communication way, right? How do you communicate with a customer? How do you communicate with the boss? How do you communicate with the coworker? So all of those skill set will help you to manage, your relationship, right? And that's why even in Timothy, he talk about for the man to manage the church, he must first learn to manage his household.
Oh yeah.
And if you can't manage your household, you can't manage the church. A church is a larger community. If you can't handle a small one, how can you handle a big one? You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of churches become dysfunctional. Because the household the pastor comes from a dysfunctional home. So unless you fix home, don't try to run church.
Right. Exactly.
You make a mess of it.
Yes. Yes.
Having said that, none of us is perfect. Even the man who runs his household well, he may have some glitches, like computers do. You know what I mean? He himself or her may have glitches in the management. Yeah? But the thing is that licking your wounds and moving on is key. Taking the corrections, making necessary changes that need to be made and keep on moving. Good night, Alethea. Welcome. Good night. How you doing? Your mic is muted.
Hi, Alethea.
Hi, good night. I'm doing great, It's my phone was ringing in the evening and I was getting so distracted and I said, let me just finish up with these calls and then I could jump on the air.
Okay.
Yes, it's one of those days.
So what we're talking about is constructive confrontation in marriage.
Constructive confrontation.
In marriage,
Is there such a thing?
Well, there is.
Constructive confrontation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a number of things we're talking about. Next month, you gotta get a book. You gotta get your book. I have Veronica. Veronica, please to remind me to send you a book.
Oh my
Yeah, I have to
goodness.
get my book too from John. Sounds like a very interesting book.
I know I'll probably leave it on top here. I'll leave it to
Hey,
there.
John, you speaking of approach, you might not like my approach with reminding you. I might be bugging you all day, every day.
check the wind flow. Check the wind flow before you land. If you know how you're approaching because the wind could be moving towards you and not moving with you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that could cause the plane to go to capsize. So the wind facility is very important. How you land.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, but constructive confrontation is something that could be had. Is not putting on the hostility to the confrontation. Instead of having a negative confrontation, you could turn into a positive one. For example, I'm just saying this here. You come home late every day for the last 2 weeks without any explanation. I could either blow up and say, "What the heck you coming home so late? Every time you have to be home by 5," and start blowing up on this, right? Or you could just simply say, "Honey, is there a problem? This I've been coming home late, And he said, "Well, I had to work late and that. And she might say, "So what's going on? What's the problem at work? What is that?" And you, if you're not doing any outside of that, you'll be coming to answer it in a sensible fashion. Yes?
Yes.
Without being confrontational. Right?
Right.
And that's so many things that people do. They don't know how to articulate themselves when they're questioned about certain things. You get
True.
the person that is asked the question become hostile
Correct.
if they're not doing the right thing in the right place at the right time. Yeah,
It's true.
they're
Yes.
not very good at deflecting, so they get confrontational with a
Right.
non-confrontational approach. You understand? So now
Right.
you have to rebut and say, okay, fine, no problem, let's leave it there. You don't want to argue because you don't want to fight over something that could be that will mess everything up if a person continue becoming confrontational about it negatively. So you want to nicely approach it without confrontation. And the person who is offended by it because they might be guilty of the fact that they've been doing something that is not within the norms of the relationship, right?
Right.
Most often this person become confrontational when you try to be non-confrontational. Why you always accusing me? Why you always I can't be late? I can't, and they start cleaning up and I say, oh, I don't need the odd boss. I just ask a question. Simple, you know?
Yes.
But then there's another way you could use it, you know? And, I know you come home late, so why can't I pick you up and we go out for dinner together? You know? Instead of
Hmm.
questioning the person, you know? So,
Right.
okay, I'll pick you up for dinner and we go out together instead of, because when you come home dinner, everybody on to sleep. If you take time to travel home, you and I go have dinner, especially if you two living together, you know? Working that late, you know what? I won't prepare dinner. We'll just go out for dinner today, this week,
Right. Right.
you know? So that might be a different strategy to use to avoid the confrontation. And they say no, I say, okay, fine. And then, well, they say, well, honey, Wednesday, I have to go to a meeting for 8 o'clock. I'll pick up on my way home, right? If you don't know respond to it, you show up 8 o'clock and pick him up.
Right. And then if you're going to confront a person, the right environment is also important, right?
Yeah.
You want
So,
to make sure that you're in an environment where it's in a quiet area,
yeah.
you know,
So
have
even though
have some privacy.
yeah, and even though he or she is not taking the bus, you say, you show up, you show up where they are, and wait and say, okay, let's go. I'll come and pick up. We go for dinner, right? So park your car here. We go on a free fish. We come back, right? Pick up your car and go about your business, right?
Mhm.
So that's other little things you could do without having to be confrontational in a negative way. So
Right.
that would be a constructive confrontation. You know what I mean? You have to find creative way to not be negatively confrontational, right?
And I guess that's where it all stands, showing that you're able to be creative to come up with a scenario
Mm,
that is going to be non-confrontational to your partner, that will
mm,
leave room for them to receive, what the situation is. And
mm.
I guess that would be the ideal thing to do.
So,
Again,
however,
skill set.
the brother is saying here, however, any healthy relationship has to survive confrontation, right? In a positive situation, people appreciate loving correction and see it as an opportunity for growth. The key is in making sure that your confrontation are approached with wisdom so that they are constructive rather than destructive. So make sure that your confrontation is a constructive one or destructive one. And you could use various methods of doing that. So here are some few things that you could do. Before confronting your mate, make sure that one, there really was an infraction. There's a problem. Two, you really believe that there is a need for change. Three, you plan how to structure the confrontation. So again, like everything is a plan B, what we plan before you approach. Okay?
Yes,
Have a
yes,
flight plan. Have a flight plan. Make sure you
yes.
know what
Plan
you're
before
going to say.
you
Right?
approach.
Your expectations are realistic. Make sure your expectation is realistic. You are living at the standard you expect of your mate. So whatever you expect from him, make sure you live in that same standard. him or her, right? You are not expecting your mate to make up for your own inadequacies.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
You understand the conditions in your mate life which influence his or her behavior. Have you walked a mile in those microcosms? I know the microcosms. Microcosms. Nice shoes, probably. You ladies know the shoes, the Prada shoes and that kind of stuff. I like a while in the shoes. So yeah, so those things that you need to do before confronting the person.
Mm.
So those things
Sounds
being,
good.
you think about those things before you start approaching the person, and make sure one thing, make sure that your approach is right. Yeah,
Right. And
structure
how
your.
and how do you know if it's the right approach, John?
Well, everything is trial and error. Okay, so
But the
it's
error could be devastating.
yeah, but again you have to rebut. If I'm becoming confrontational, for example, you plan how to structure the confrontation. So you could plan it one way and the person to receive it that way. What do you do then? You have to reboot. Okay, that approach didn't work. So you have five. You have eight approaches. Yeah.
Mhm.
So if plan A didn't work, plan B might work. You know.
Right.
If plan A is too close to plan B, you try plan D. And
Right.
again, you have to know your partner too. You have to know them.
That's the
To able
key.
to, yeah, because if you don't know them, you can, the moods and attitudes that they may have. Because certain words irritate somebody.
It's a trigger. Yeah.
Yeah, because they have lived through it before.
Right.
Some people, it's difficult for you to tell them that, hey, I love you, because they never experienced true love.
Right. Right. Right.
So how do you tell, even though somebody married to somebody, they married for convenience, not for love,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the convenience is fine, but once they're talking love, talk with them love, they don't really, appreciate it because they don't never had to deal with it.
Mm.
So,
Exactly.
so it's kind of difficult to maneuver something like that. Somebody who never, it's like a non-alcoholic person trying to tell somebody how to manage alcohol. You never drink before. You know what I mean? You never
Right.
been there. How will you tell me how the process to stop drinking? You never start drinking. You know, so it's
Right.
hard to really
Well,
get.
unless you're a medical doctor, then,
Yeah. Well, it make that
because
never
there's a
drink
lot
for
of doctors
himself.
that don't drink, but they can
Exactly.
still.
You give your advice, but sometimes it's a trial and error for him too. You know what I mean? I mean, might do some case studies, might be to a situation and hear other people talk about withdrawals. How do I withdraw from alcohol? And that might be, that's why it's important, Alicia, that doctors and other practitioners should get into situation, seminars, workshops where other people, doctors have other experiences that they could learn from, networking with other people, so you could learn from them and be able to better serve your community and serve your people, your patients, right? So that way you become more effective in your treatment and get more response, better response from them. And you will be able to work with them and they will say, well, boy, Dr. John, or Dr. Sonia, Dr. whatever is a good doctor and are getting healed. And the medicine work. As long as just the conversation might be working, right? I heard a story of a Jamaican doctor who was prescribing medication, so his client keep coming back all the time. So his son went away, become a doctor. When his son came back, he started treating the patient, so they don't come back to him. And so the father was questioning, well, how come these people come back? He said, Father, doc, he said that when they get healed, he said, how you guys send to college and university? This patient, they keep coming all the time. That's what I charge. You know what I mean? So he was just creating the condition for them to come back. He didn't healing. He wasn't in the process of healing. You understand? It was just having them, recycling them. They come back the same way. But his son came back with a different method. Heal them, let them go. Get the word go out that, hey, this doctor doing something good. Everybody will come to this doctor now. Then instead of having more clients, you didn't have the same old ones, you have more. Because now everybody knows this doctor healing people. There's a healing thing going on over there. So I'm coming. So everybody started, the son is so good, I've been healed. Everybody kept coming. So that's one of the things you have to be mindful of. Your method of operation. You don't stick to one way. You gotta learn from other people's experiences and to build yours. So you could treat an alcoholic even though you haven't drank before. Alexia?
Okay. I was just listening to what you're saying, and I'm like, all right, you know. No, I get that. I get your perspective
Yeah,
on that,
yeah.
and it makes sense, you know. Um, but this is if the man is leading and the man is the one that is in charge of the relationship, then he would say something like what you said. But
Right.
yeah, but unfortunately, sometimes women are the ones that initiate where the direction of that conversation is going to go.
Mm,
And if he, is sure that this is the direction, then I
mm.
think women would be okay with it. Um, it's just that, I'm coming from a different lens and a different perspective. And women aren't even getting to that point where they're even having this discussion. So, it's just refreshing to hear from you, um, your perspective, which I agree with.
Somebody just called. Just wanted to call to the show. Hello? Hello? Okay. Not answering. Yeah. So, yeah. So, the man perspective, or the woman's perspective, husband who leading, that's what you're saying? So, for me, when especially in this show, I try to give both sides, from both sides, right? Um, I would like to think that the question is reciprocal in a sense. You could ask the same question to a woman, right? I give the advice we want to do the same thing to the man, because women want leadership. Sometimes most women don't want to lead; they just want to have a strong man that could lead them. And some men slips, they slide, they don't take up the rightful place. So here the woman had to step up, and that might be a weight she don't plan to carry. She wasn't built for that. But most men are forced into roles that they was not designed to go into, and they become strong. What they call them, strong black women. But isn't that is not what they're designed to be? They're supposed to be soft, cute, pampered, and stuff like that. Supportive. Then they have to be supported. This is not what they want the bill to be. They're built to support, to be a helpmate, not the other way around. So in most cases in relationship, our roles have been reversed. And women are left to drag and pull a man along like a bag of coals. You don't want
But
that.
are they dragging and pulling? Because if the woman, and we've had this discussion, and Veronica, please jump in, because I think we're all successful women. And we have been conditioned to make sure that we stand up for ourselves and we speak for ourselves, and we have some independence.
Right.
And that was based on some of the experiences of the women that were in our lives. And they made it clear that you have to have your own thing, even
Mm.
though you're going into a partnership. So, um, women might be a little bit more vocal than the man. And you're right. It could be based on the way that we were raised or we were conditioned. And I find the new modern, I guess I'm just calling it the new modern man. He's telling me he doesn't want to be the one to lead. He wants the woman to lead and make certain decisions.
It's a
So
cop out. It's a cop out for laziness.
yeah, and I'm surprised
If
too.
so, if I hold on, Olivia, if a
Yeah.
man tell you that you don't want to be in a relationship with this man,
Well, I would find that really surprising based on my culture and how I grew up. But, these days it's different where people are saying, well, let's have a discussion. And then based on the discussion, if
now,
my answer carries more weight, then the person's going to say, well, then they're going to just go with my flow. And I just find that really interesting. Because then the more fundamental people like yourself would think what you said was, whoa, like where is his decision-making skills
Yeah.
and him to lead? Where these days
He's a poor manager, a bad manager.
men are being told to fall back.
No, no, no. I encourage men to step up to the plate right now. I encourage them to stay. I watch a situation happen, right? I watch a church. The woman was the pastor, the husband is there. Okay? She gets sick. They close on it, they sell the church. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? All these people go to a different church. Like, no, 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 no. Husband, stand up. You know, even if you had to manage the church and bring a pastor to preach every Sunday or use people from the congregation, you're the man. What's wrong with you? You let your wife sell the church and go and sit down home? Are you kidding me?
But what was his understanding of his role?
That's what I'm saying. He has no, he
That's what
has
we should
not.
talk about. And I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah,
What really is the man's role in the relationship? Because men are falling back
yeah.
and saying that they can't be bothered anymore.
No, because
Women are
men.
taking charge, but they're not successful.
Okay, I have spoken to other men, and I ask men all the time. Even just men talking. I have asked men, what is your plan for the next 5 years? They don't have one. So when they meet people like you who have a 20, 30-year plan, they feel threatened. They say, okay, you go ahead, you lead. And they just suck the life out of you. I would never advise my daughter to date a man or to live with a man like that.
Okay. Because I
No
mean,
dream, no dream, you're dead. No
yeah, but
vision, you're perishing. You're
they
dragging that
wouldn't.
woman down.
Okay, that's interesting because they would interpret it as, well, I like what she's doing, so I'm just going to jump on that, which means they're going to go in the direction that she is going.
Okay,
But they
fine.
see it as they're saying, I can encourage her, I can motivate her because she's already doing it. It's going to make me want to do it.
Okay.
But
So
my
okay.
thing is, he should already be doing it.
Okay, so Bob meets you. Bob has no dream, no vision. You have the big vision board going on there. Right? So I look at the vision board, I say, okay, she's doing this. Where's my strength? What's my greatest strength I have that I could put in that to add to that to make it better? So even though I didn't have one, I see something that, because normally everybody comes with something inside of them. Very few recognize it. But suddenly you see something and say, oh, I could do that. Because something in your hard drive, in your subconscious awaken now. Yeah? Maybe from 20 years, 30 years ago. And all of a sudden, that one line on the board, right? Go into your hard drive and pull out that thing in you and say, oh, I could do that. I say, honey, you know what? Can I do this part here? And he says, sure. And how you going to go about doing it? And he starts saying, because you're already in him. You just come, I'll do this, and make it happen. For example, I have a lot of sessions going on. So let's say there's somebody like me coming to your life now, right? And I say, okay, can I check this session? Can I do this? Can I get this other person coming? I start adding value to what you're doing now. But if I have no vision, no dream, no nothing, I'll be just tagging along, sucking the life out of you. I'll be a sapper, just sapping up everything from you. I don't know. It's hard for somebody who have a vision and a dream and a drive and go both ways. So somebody just come and sit and just not doing nothing. It drains you.
Yeah.
Right now, that's why there's a lot of webinars directed to women on how to protect your assets for men like these. And then I remember just saying in the comments when I saw a post like that, and I thought, I get it that women, but there's something fundamentally wrong where you have to say protect your assets from people.
Because men are leeching up now. They don't want to work hard anymore. But more women are being educated. Okay? More women are being more adventurous. More entrepreneurs coming out and that. They're seeing what they want. They're going after what they want. They become the lawyers, become the doctors, become the business owner on the side. They side hustling. They doing everything. Right? And some men, they comfortable just going to work for the paycheck, come back home, go to work tomorrow, come back home. And these men have skills beyond measure, they're not applying it.
But we have to also look at the school system too, especially for young Black men. And what's the outcome when they complete their education?
Well,
Because there's a lot of us that don't go on to post-secondary right away, because sometimes we need to go and find ourselves after high school or whatever. And then when you come back, then you're going to talk about things that are more practical. But this is what I want to find out. There must be some
Okay,
changes going on.
let me
Like,
say
how
this.
is a man not gravitating towards his purpose? And
Okay,
that's something that we have done.
so
There's something we haven't done there for them.
let me say this. Okay, so oftentimes I hear the school system, the school system, the school system. Everything begins in the house, in the household. Yeah, whether you have a two-parent or one-parent household. Yeah, you have to ensure that you don't allow your son or daughter to be indoctrinated but educated, and that starts with you. So first, I tell my daughter, you go to school, get education, you look to build your own business. Okay, so our responsibility to our children is to groom them to cultivate the right mindset to not be an employee for life.
Correct.
Okay? So once we get that mindset in our children, they go into school now with the mindset of going out to go into business for themselves, not to go into, to follow the rat race. Get out of the rat race. For 40 years, for 40 hours of your life, you've been sucked into a lie that believe if you do this, you'll become successful. Look around you, people. Look around you right now. The people who've been to work for the last 40 years, 45 years, what have they achieved? Working for somebody. They're dead, they're disabled, or they're broke.
Yeah.
Yeah? So do you want to repeat the same cycle for the next 40 years again? Do you want your son to do the same thing? Think about it. The school is not designed to make you go into business. It's designed to go and work for somebody else. Until you decide to step out and say, you know what? I'm not going to go down that path. I see everybody going down that path and they fall in a ditch. I look at the 10 people in my community, 10 men in my community, 100 men in my community, right? One becomes successful because he decided to go on his own.
Yes. And I mean, I had a discussion with a woman about this the other day, and she said her and her husband, they worked in the same jobs for 10, 15 years, and now their son is in high school and he's looking for a job and he can't find a job. And I said, why are we even encouraging him to find a job? This is a good time for him to go into entrepreneurship. And she said, well, she doesn't know anybody in her immediate family that has their own business because she's in the mindset of a job. So
Exactly.
then I'm like, okay,
Monkey
but
see,
then I'm
monkey do.
thinking, we've lived in this country for so long and you don't know anybody.
You
But
know,
yeah, there has to
you
be
know
something.
what pisses me off all the time, Veronica? I came in this country here, right?
Mhm.
And when I was a manager a distribution company, I meet 18-year, 19-year, 20-year-old born Canadian men, young boys,
Okay.
drop out of high school, looking for a factory to hustle, not going to business, looking for a job. So I said to the guy, why you not go to school? I remember one time a guy tell me he wanted to be a teacher. Okay? So I said, why not going and study to become a teacher? I said, why do you want to be a teacher? He said, well, there's plenty of money. That's student. If you think about it for a moment, there's a lot of immigrants come to this country. They can hardly
Right.
speak English. In the
True.
evening, open a school from 3 or from 4 to 6, from 6
Hmm.
or 6:30 to 9:30. $25
Yes.
per class every
Yes.
day. Yeah, you don't need the system to. You don't need to go to work, right? I
Right.
have a buddy. He's really good at computers. Teach computer science. Why are you looking for a job for $60 an hour when you could make $200,000 a year working for yourself?
John, that goes back to that skill set. If you have one or two skill sets, and I'll give you a good example. Yesterday I had hired a young man to come in to move some furniture around for me. And he came by himself and I said, where's your partner? He said, I'm a one-man shop. you know, he said, I'm gonna do everything by myself. And I said to myself, I kind of looked at him like, I don't think so, but let me see what you do. This man not only did a sufficient job, right? He did it quickly and he was out of the door in less than an hour. Whereas I was telling my son, it would have took you 3 days to do the same assignment, right?
it,
So it goes back to the skill set,
mm,
right?
mm,
And once you're able to get a skill set, right? And be able to produce income from that skill set. You don't really need, don't get me wrong, education is good. We all need a certain amount of education, right? We need to be able to make sure our subject verbs agree when we're communicating with people, right? We need to know
money,
action verbs,
money don't know grammar.
right? Well, hey,
Money don't, money,
sometimes if you
money,
don't know the right approach,
yeah.
if you don't know the vocabulary, you can't communicate with certain people.
Right.
So
So let me say something here. You know, both of probably you guys read Robert Kiyosaki's book, Cash Flow Quadrant.
no, not that
No?
one.
Well, you get a
No, I
copy of
read
it.
the first one.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Well, cash flow quadrant is something similar to what Veronica was saying. This guy,
You write that down.
they have the full quadrant is the employee, the self-employed,
Oh
the
yeah, I
employee,
think
the self-employed, the business owner, and the investor. Right?
oh
So the
yeah,
self-employed and the employee is almost the same. They trade in money, time for money. If
right,
either
right,
one stop work, get sick, no money comes in.
right,
The
right,
business owner, right? He has a business. He have employees, but he always on the job to make sure the business is done. The
right,
fourth person is the investor. He invests in
right.
the system that the businessman creates. So he
Yep,
make money work for him. Right?
exactly.
So you could start a business, sell it, and be an investor in the business afterwards. So you don't have to work again, but the business money make money for you. Right? So the whole goal here is not just to be an employee, not even being a self-employed person, but you could
But
duplicate
you
yourself in other
invest.
people and be an
Yes,
investor. So, for example, like Alita, what Alita is doing, and she's doing a really good job at it. In 5 years' time, do you think you want to show up every day to do it? I want to have other people doing it for you and cash in. You know what I mean? Like, how do you want to open an institution where people comes in and you'll be the executive director? You don't have to do everything again. You know, you could take the vacation. Now, if you stop doing what you're doing, right, the money start flowing because you're not at the job.
right.
Right? So do I need 5 or 6 people doing the same thing in my space? That the money people still come in to be treated. And
Oh yeah,
I could still take the vacation. Right? So when we say we're self-employed, if we get sick and we can't show up for a week, the bills still have to be paid.
yeah, that's right.
If you're an employee and don't show up to work, you will not get paid. So the self-employed and the employee is the same thing. The business owner is the next step up. You don't have to show up to work every day, but you have to make sure your work is done. So you put structures in place that business could flow when you're not there. But the investor who invests in the business system, it's like you can invest in McDonald's. You don't have to show up to McDonald's every day to see it work. You walk in. You know what I mean? You don't show up to
Right,
Home Depot every day, it working. But your money working for you.
right.
So we have to move from the employee to the self-employed to the business owner to the investor. Cash
So it's
flow
all it's
quadrant.
about a state of mind, right?
Exactly.
Your mindset.
It's the restructuring and rebranding of your mind, your thinking.
Yes,
Because you have all this information and it don't change, it's just information. Because
that's right.
information don't really cause transformation, it's conversion. Once you are converted over to the thinking, the belief system is changed. You start approaching it differently. So in 5 years'
Right,
time, I'll say, okay, this have to be done. So Alita could be this and this person could be that. So I have an accountant, I have this person, I have that person. And right away, everything flowing still, even though I'm not there. You see?
exactly.
So the system
And
is set up to work, to function, even though I'm not there today. You have people doing
that's
it.
the best, and that's the best way to do it.
Yeah,
You're making money even as you sleep. Things are running smoothly. The operations are running smoothly.
right.
Even though you're not around, you got people
Yeah,
that's there that's responsible, that knows how it works. They're managing the situation and
yeah.
supervising your employees, and so therefore your business is
It's
successful.
working. It's successful, and that's why one of the things. Excuse me. I've seen so many people who are self-employed, right?
Hmm.
When I ask them what they plan for the next 10 years, they don't have one. They're just working day to
Yeah,
day. So in 5 years, time, I decided to have 10 new employees to do what I'm doing. Train them, put them in there, right? And constantly having trained people, right? Now, people might leave you and go and start their own because they have a dream of their own. But you don't have to replacing them by you going back and do the same thing. Get new people, train them, always have training going on, right? So you have that constant flow of employees. You have a pool you could pull from, right? So if you do that in your profession and you're a businesswoman or businessman, you create the environment for people to grow in it, right? So then you don't have to babysit the business anymore, but you have people doing it for you. One of the things that we used to do, we had a cleaning service and we had a babysitting service. So my wife used to do this, started cleaning for herself and started doing babysitting for herself. Afterwards, she said, you know what? Let me get some people to do the babysitting. She put out an ad for more babysitters and put one for more cleaning. So she get people to go and do cleaning, and eventually she start work, start do the cleaning. You understand?
Good.
So people go and do the cleaning. So that's one of the things that, when you say you're self-employed, you become a business owner over time. Objective is to have employees, have an institution, build something big in the next 10 to 15 years. That's what I'm going to be having.
Right. And I think too, John, I think it's worthy to say that we need to start with the youth, right? We need to start with the youth. By the time they turn age 10, they should really, and that might be too late.
That's what we're talking to Abby about right now.
Exactly.
Abby, what do you want to be by 10? I don't know yet, Daddy. But I'm watching what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't figure what they want to do, but they're doing what they want to do already. But you have to pay attention to what they're doing and train them up in that way. So when they get old, they don't depart from it. Because now you see what they're interested in. I went to the daycare center, right? Every time I go in, there's certain kids paying the same set of toys every time. Okay? Now, these teachers might think these children just playing these toys just right, but that's where the interest is.
Right.
So they may not like maths, they may not like English, they may not like science, they like construction. You may want to be a doctor, you might want to be a plumber. So all the tools here I'm trying to play every day, I'm trying to put things together, get them into a trade school. Early.
Right.
They could be the best plumber and they could have their own business out of that.
Right.
So
and let them
see them.
Right. Let them engage in whatever it is that they enjoy doing.
Right
And
through life.
I'm glad you said that because, like my son, I noticed that he likes to like we watch a lot of podcasts together, right? And he likes to make commentary on the podcast. And I said to him, don't make the commentary to me. Get on YouTube, put the show on, and make the commentary to your audience.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, because communication is your strength. You're good at communicating. So why not build on that? Build on your communication skills. But oftentimes, and I think we have to start off when they're young, helping them to identify what it is that they do well and compliment them on what they do well, right? Compliment them and let them know, hey, I appreciate you. I saw what you did. I heard what you said. And, I do agree with that. And maybe perhaps we can start a little something. You might not even want to identify it as a business. Why don't we start doing so and so and put them into practice of doing those things, right? So that they can get comfortable with communicating with people. They can get comfortable with whatever the situation is, the preparation cycle of it, right? And analyzing and asking them questions. What do you think is best for this? What do you think is best for that? Let their mind be creative in the way that they bring forth this new creativity, I think it's good to, if I had to go back and redo it all over again, that's the way I would have done my sons. But
I'd rather make that point. I often ask people if they could live their life from between 8 to 10 years again.
I can't hear you, John.
I often ask people if they had to live their life over again from between 8 and 10 years old, what would be different about their life today? Or what would they do differently? No, right. Get the time to start over from 8 and 10 years old. Because most time, by 8 to 10 years old, children start formulating what they want to be, don't have already. It doesn't express it to us, but we have to watch what they're doing. Genesis knew she wanted to be a gynecologist by 10. She always said no, she wanted to be a gynecologist. before she was 10 years old. And that's what she's going to study. So children already know what they want. We have to encourage them and train them up in that way. But when we hear the Bible say, train my child in the way we should go, we think, oh, it's Sunday school, Bible, 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 Bible. Sometimes we go so left with the Bible that we miss educating our children for what they should, for the purpose in life.
Right.
Purpose in life is not to read the Bible every day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our real purpose here is to manage the resources that God gives us. That's what he says in the beginning. The resources, we are here to manage God's resources.
Yes.
God never said in the beginning, never said, I make it to worship me, You notice that? Men have strayed so far away from what God always not planned for us. We miss it.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
We miss it. We mismanaging. We're not managing God's resources. I wonder why we are the way we are. We spend so much time doing church, we'll spend time doing God.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? And doing what he asks us to really do. So we don't have the conversation we're supposed to have to grow and to manage. In Matthew in Luke chapter 15, 16, right? He gives a scenario of the bad manager, how they call it, right? And there was a situation God talking about the man, he wasn't managing well. And if you can manage other people's resources, how can I give you yours? He tells me God have resources for us to manage. But if you're not managing other people alone, he can't give you yours. So we working for somebody is a test. Whether we're good at managing the small things that we have, other people's resources. If we can't manage other people's, you say, I'm not going to give you yours. God's stupid.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? So I want to give you yours.
No more than what we can handle.
Yes. So if God realizes you're not managing the little house that you have, I'll give you a bigger one.
Yeah,
exactly. If we go in a job and you're teething from a job and you're showing up late every day, you're leaving early, when you want to work, you're sloppy. You think God will give you your own business? You'll make a mess out of it.
Right.
If you give mess up your marriage, you think God will give you a better one?
Oh yeah.
See,
No.
You have to manage what little that you have, what you have. Anything you mismanage, you're gonna lose it. Anything you mismanage, you're gonna lose it.
That is true.
God wants us to be good managers. The prodigal son get his inheritance. The father knew, the father is the representative of God, the prodigal father. He knew that his son would not be able to manage the stuff what he go with. He went out and he spent all. He didn't buy a donkey to ride home.
Oh yeah.
He didn't trade in textile. He don't trade in copper or ore or nothing. Nothing. He just wine and dine all the money away. And he come back home a beggar.
Right.
He failed to manage what he had. The whole idea of the prodigal son, people think about the prodigal son go over his sin and saint and come back. No. About management. A son who failed to manage the resources that was given to him.
That is true.
But the father knew.
And even with that prodigal son that left home, maybe if he would have stayed around maybe 3 or 4 more years, learn some more skill sets, then he would have been able to sustain himself while being out there.
Father was trying to manage, teach him how to manage himself, but you anxious. Give him my inheritance. I want to get out of here. Anxious to leave. Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes we can't just want to leave too quickly.
And that's why the Bible says, be anxious for nothing.
Exactly. Stay home a little longer. Watch your mommy and daddy managing stuff. Learn from them. Learn. And take some advice. Some people we reach a certain age, we don't take advice from nobody. I'm my own woman now. I'm 20 years old. I'm 18 years old. I could do what I want. Because the law of society says when you're 18, you're an adult. So I could do adult thing now, but not with skill set. No skills. And following who's other people around, going nowhere. Time you catch it, you're 30 years old. And you get trapped in a cycle of repetition. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So, constructive confrontationality. I just like to take a note and write in a book now. So, this is Sister Joan. Yeah. So we have, what time is now? 11:22. Okay. So before we go, I want to give you how much keys. I don't know if I'll give you all of it tonight. But so I have 17 keys here. Yeah, and I have 6 confrontation. Following the confrontation, ask yourself. So ask yourself question after confrontation. So keys to constructive confrontation. You ready for this?
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay. 1. Stay current. Don't let the situation deteriorate before you deal with it. Number 1. Number 2. Make sure that the time and the place chosen for confrontation is conducive to a relaxed, warm atmosphere. Never confront anyone with an audience, especially children. No one has any business knowing your business, and you have no business upsetting everyone else day with your problem that does not concern them. Yes?
Oh
Make
yes.
it very clear to anyone not directly involved that you do not want any interference. 5. Be specific about the problem. Don't vast it. Don't go all over the place. Don't go to the moon, go to Mars, come back down. Be specific. Stay the course. All right? By being evasive or dragging other issues into confrontation, you will muddy the discussion, create confusion, and lose effectiveness. Stay effective. Don't go outside. Don't drag it all over the place. Last week you do this and this and go what you did 2 months ago and bring everything else in the conversation. Stick with the one that you did right now. Don't go all over the place. 6. Tell exactly how it makes you feel being in the situation of having to confront. It will help the perpetrator to empathize with you. Okay? 7.
Okay.
Tell why you feel the way you do. Your partner may not be aware of certain circumstances of your life. 8. Again, those of you who have the book, is page 119. I'm at right now. 18, 19. 117, 18, 19. So we're at 19. 7. Okay, I said 7 already. 8. Never nag. Oh my goodness. Nagging only aggravates situation. Please do not nag your husband or your wife. Please stay away from nagging. Yeah, nagging like dragging a knife over a grater. A
John,
constant
how do we as women
stop
get
nagging.
the answers that we need without nagging? I mean, how does that go exactly?
Okay, let me show you. Let me give you a situation. Okay, now I shared it here before with my wife and I. Right, I always try to bring my life situation to here to the show real. So we had a situation where there's some tiles missing fell off from the bathroom, and the guys who were renting from it broke the pipe, the tile in the pointing or whatever, right? So my wife told me get it fixed. Now I want to fix it, but I'm doing the radio and I cannot come from work radio, so I gotta find somebody. So every guy I talk to, John, I'll come here next week. I'll come this Saturday. Come, nobody comes. For 2 years I've been bugging. I said I'll go fix it myself. I went, I'll go and check it out. Okay, I'll get it done. Then I'm walk one day. This thing occurred to me. Call Chopper. But I remember what name I have him in my book. I open my phone book, my phone thing with my list of people. His name show up first. Trevor. So I call him. He said, I'll come Sunday morning before you go to church. Sunday morning before 8 o'clock, the man show up in my house. I went to Home Depot, get his stuff, and he fixed. After 2 years. Every time my wife would tell me, John, don't forget to call the guy, okay? Honey, did you call the guy already? Did you talk about it? So, you understand, there's a difference. She can say, man, every time I ask you about the thing, you don't do it. That's the third time. And that would be driving me nuts. Right?
But then you would remember to do it.
Yeah, but I might not even do it. Like, just because irritating that just doesn't get it. Sometimes irritation don't work for some people. But a cool, calm, and collective person, it's sweetness. The tone in which you say to thing, my wife is so calm. I want to put that to rest because if she just aggravated me, I wouldn't bother. Let's have just gripe. But the way she do it, I keep seeking the person to come and get it done. You know what I mean? Okay. So you could nag negatively, and you could ask politely. Yes?
Ask.
And the politeness in which and the way in which you do it. Like I said, there's soft landing and hard landing. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you land hard, somebody just ignore you. Okay. And they know that you come in hard all the time. They just whatever. She always talk. You know what I mean? But if the person being nicely thinking to you, and even when over dinner, honey, don't forget to ask the guy for his stuff. Okay, we need to get this place rented. So if you can't rent it like that, so if we get it being fixed, we could rent the place. That
Mm,
makes sense to me than just cussing me off every time. I'll just say, yeah, she cuss, I'll just go and do what I have to do. Yeah? And every man might be the same way. Some men that will start a fire. You know? It will start a big fight in the house. Who you talking to like that? Why no. You know,
right.
you trying to disrespect me in my own house? You know what I mean? All this kind of stuff will come up, especially if you own the house. You know what I mean? But
Right.
if you own the house as we house, you won't say that. Our house, you won't be saying that. Like you remember the lady, the husband that left, and he asked us on the show if she could take back her husband. So I asked the question: did he meet her at the house, or they bought the house together? Then yeah, you reveal that she owned the house and she married to him. So she have this cloud that if he go there, come back in my house. Now she thought that no, once you're married, it's we house, not your house anymore. Is that different in this country?
John, did you see that? It's a not a podcast, a little short video when the lady says, God, she's like on the phone, she's like, hello, God. Yes, there's a scripture in the Bible that says that it is better for a man to live in a desert than to live in the
And
house
the
with
house
a
top than to live in a
right.
house top and
And
live in a house with a woman.
she
Yeah.
says, let me ask you, God, does it matter which desert I take it to?
Taking it to the African land safari. Okay, number nine. uh, Taking the Arabian desert. Okay, don't nag, don't nag. Number eight was no nagging. Only
Mhm.
aggravate situation. Okay, number nine. Ask why your partner does whatever it is that is of concern to you. There could be a valid reason for his or her behavior. Perhaps you've misunderstood something. Right? That's number nine. Number 10, be prepared to back up your complaint with facts. Okay?
Mhm.
Give evidence of the offense. So don't just make wild accusation. Right? Make sure you have evidence before you start shooting out. Because the person could be innocent. It could just be your misunderstanding. Yes? Make
Mhm.
sure your partner understands why the behavior is offensive and why it is not part of the acceptable standard for your relationship. You'll be very clear about that one. Don't be afraid. Make sure it's not acceptable based on the standards. And know your standard and his standard. What is your standard for the relationship? What is his standard for relationship? What is
Mhm.
standard for relationship for married people as a union? What is standard? Okay. Number 12, work out a solution agreeable to both. So find a common ground that both of you could understood could work with. Right? If argument cannot be reached, get immediate counseling. Make sure that you go to the right person who is qualified to help you. At this juncture, I would like Aditya to give out her practice license and what she does.
Yes, and I was about to jump in anyway. And yeah, these are great perspectives. And yeah, if you're really having a struggle, please reach out to me. You can go on my website, www.mindsilike.ca. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn by my name, Alethea Kidor, or you can send me an email, alethea@mindsilike.com.
All right. So yeah, you're about to jump in. Go ahead. What you was going to say?
Well, I mean, for psychotherapy, why people would come to me would be if they're having some challenges and they're really finding it hard to make a decision. They might have people in their life that will have one way of thinking, and they might want someone with a little bit of objectivity, lived experience, that might see things from a different perspective. So I always like people to know that therapy doesn't have to be because you have some major problems and it's hard for you to manage. It could be a situation that you're facing and you're really stuck with making a decision, and you just need somebody that's far removed from the situation to give you some subjective
Right.
um
Right.
advice.
So in other words, before it break, maintain it. Yes. A lot of times people try to fix something that is when they could, instead of maintaining it, do some maintenance on it, they let it break or crack before they start fixing it. So maintenance is important. It
Something
costs
like
cheaper to maintain than to repair a broken thing. Yeah. So get it maintained before you get broken. Yeah. All
that
right.
is it.
So number 13. Number 14. I agree to review the progress in the near future. Never walk away angry. Make sure that when the confrontation is over, both of you are in a good mood and both feels good about the talk. Yes? That's nice. I love that one. Tell each other why you feel good about the whole thing and about what you feel was accomplished. That's number 16. Number 17. End the confrontation with an affirmation of the other person's, thereby giving him or her encouragement to persist in striving towards positive growth. Yes, I love that. I love that. That's really cool. That's number 17. However, following the confrontation, ask yourself this: did I build integrity in my mate during the course of the confrontation? 2. Was I completely clear in my presentation of how I felt? 3. Did I really understand how my partner felt and the reason for the behavior? 4. Were my demand or expectation realistic? 5. Did I let the situation go too far before dealing with it? 6. What grounds was gained? Did my partner agree with my assessment? So that's what you ask yourself after the confrontation. 5 there. The
All good
need,
questions, John.
hold on, the need for constructive confrontation is
I
with
can't hear you, John.
the need. Okay, sorry. Yeah, the need for constructive confrontation is with us for more in the early days of marriage than in the last years. The process of adapting to life together involves a great deal of affirmation and confrontation. The reason varies. It could be lower, the be towel on the floor, TV too loud. Did I say that earlier on? The TV too loud when my wife comes in. What are you doing? Gotta lower it down. The toothpaste
Yeah.
tube squeeze from the top, consistent lateness, a general lack of consideration. The important lesson to learn is that situation needs to be dealt with, and they arise in a loving and wise manner. There goes the end of Solomon Grande. So yes, Veronica, you were saying something.
No, I was just saying that all good questions to ask yourselves, nice things to consider, and it sounds like if you follow those instructions, then you're gonna have a successful conversation with the person, and you're gonna be, you're gonna come to some kind of conclusion. And I like the fact that, if you can't come to a conclusion, then go to a therapist, right? Someone like Alethea that can bring clarity to the situation, that can give you a better understanding of where you go from here. You
Right,
know,
right.
unfortunately, a lot of times people don't want to seek out for therapy, though. That's the problem. We need to encourage other people to, it's okay for therapy. It's okay to get somebody else to talk with about your situation.
Right.
You're only going to be healthier and happier in your relationship if you work out these issues.
Right. Right.
So hopefully, and that's why I said to a person the other day, I was having a conversation. I said, when you marry someone, you're not marrying that person's body, you're marrying the mindset of that person. You need to understand the mind of that person and to be able to say, hey, I can live with this person's mindset. If
Yeah.
not, you're gonna be in for a rude awakening, because you need to, if you don't know the mindset, then you're gonna be looking for something else, and
Look, the most
it's
beautiful
gonna
thing of
hit you
any
like a
human
ton of
being,
bricks.
the most beautiful thing of any human being is the mind, not the body. I'm telling
Exactly.
you. If you meet somebody with a beautiful mind, don't care how they look. That mind is sharp and beautiful. You move mountains together. I'm telling you.
Yes, exactly.
I had a friend in a wheelchair, and I remember a friend of mine asked him, "You don't tired in this wheelchair?" His reply was to her, "I could stay in this wheelchair for the rest of my life once I do not lose my mind. My mind
Mm,
is most important thing to me. I could do anything once that working. My mind is. I could see with my mind's eyes. I could do anything. I could envision and live everything I want to live. Because I have a good mind.
mm-hmm.
See, my mind is what keep me focused today. If I
Right.
lose that, I can't see nothing. My whole
Exactly.
mind go be topsy turvy. Everything go be so like a cook up. Everything mixed up in one. I can't focus, and that's what
Mm,
happened. If you have a clear mind, a clear vision of something that you really want to go after, you have goals confusion in your head going on, and
right.
you want to focus on one thing at a time, and one good thing that could lead probably when you start focusing on one thing. For me, I used to do so many different things, right? Until I decided to settle and do one and start seeing result. Because when you stay to one thing, start building one thing, people start see your consistency, right? And they'll come
Right.
along and give you advice that could help you build that one thing. But they see you going all the way places, they don't know which one to help you with. You know what I mean? It's like a toss up for ideas where you could just focus on one thing and keep going with that one thing.
Right. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the kind of mindset you want to have. Not a single mindset. Bible says you can't be double minded. You can't trust you. God
Right.
can't trust you double minded. That's why be singular in your mindset, thinking single. Once you have
Exactly.
goals confusion, you'll never get off the ground. You don't know where to start, which one to start with, and which one if you give more attention, which one you give less attention, how to grow with this one, how not to grow with that one. But if you have one thing going, say this is what I'm going with,
Right.
and
Right.
that one thing could be media. So doing just media instead of media, kitchen company, mechanic. You know what I mean? You have all this
Mhm.
thing going, and you can't give one full attention.
Right. Right.
So if you have two under one you have one big umbrella, media. So you have media, you have the TV, you have the radio, you have the newspaper. You know this fall under here. But in your branch over, you have a mechanic shop, tire shop, brake shop, and you have to run back and forth to do both. But it's still under
Right.
one umbrella and do all under one umbrella. And then you could do okay. So Veronica, you will do the publishing. Alicia will do the radio. John, you do TV. So you streamline and give responsibility to everybody. So it didn't work effectively. Why is you on top manage and everything else? But if you keep going from mechanic shop to restaurant, you run everywhere running. You're not.
Okay.
They say don't put all the eggs in one basket. You can put them in
Exactly.
under one umbrella, but in different basket. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the other thing. But it is important in life. Constructive criticism, constructive confrontation, everything constructive and positive need to be in place for a healthy function of any organization or relationship. It is imperative that people start working that way, and don't like. It's not a fear of failing to a fear of what the person may respond may be, but how you approach the person, the time and place. If you live with person for 20, 30 years, at least you should know the best practices, you know what I mean? The best habits that they have developed over the years. So you know how to talk to them and how not to talk to them and stuff like that. Get it going. Yeah. Any final thoughts? Um, Alethea?
Well, my final thoughts are this was fantastic, insightful as usual. Always learning when I come to this space. It's not that we haven't talked about this, but I find it refreshing when we bring up these topics. And I think I did a lot of listening, as I usually do at night around this time. Not too much chatting because I just want to take in the new information. So yeah, people, please reach out to me if there's something that's challenging you, that it's hard for you to face. I have a 6-week course starting on Monday for women. And please check out my information and I'll try and post it in the gem
Yeah.
space so you can check it out. And I'll be running this workshop every 6 weeks until the fall. So please check it out.
Right, right. So guys, here got it. Alicia Kado, Minds I Like. And that, you know what I'm saying? Again, that's what I'm saying.
The number one technique for
If you're pretty outside and your brain is ugly, you're a messed up person. You're not getting brain right. So you want a brain checkup, go check to Alethea. You know, I do help maintain the brain too. I help maintain brains to positive thinking. So you can reach out to me, reach out to Alethea. You know, we do help in that regards. We can unite the body parts together, you know, help people work and be functional and instead of dysfunctional. Veronica, final thoughts.
Yes, my final thoughts is you know, take the positive approach versus the negative approach. Remember to listen and do not judge.
Yes.
Um, and of course, be open to what your partner has to say, or whomever you're confronting, right? It doesn't have to be in a relationship, for men and women, but whoever you're going to do, make sure you take that positive approach. Make sure you go in with a healthy, positive mindset and go in mind with a resolution for the problem, not just to confront the problem, but a resolution. And
Right.
of course, once you confronted a person, you want to definitely check the box for those things that list of things that John told us tonight. And of course, did you get a resolution from the situation? Did you get an understanding to what your partner was talking about? You want to think about all those things and see if it was a successful transaction, right? And hopefully you will. I would say to couples who are dealing with things such as an affair and you want to confront your partner, make sure you pray about it first of all. Second of all, use wise counsel. We went through the scripture earlier about confessing your sins to one another, but also keep in mind too that when you do that, you're confessing your sins to another believer, right? For those of us who are in Christ, make sure that person is another believer, and make sure that you know you're not being selfish with your time, your energy, and trying to tear apart a relationship when it's really unnecessary. And most of all, for those of you who say there's no reasoning of the mind and choose to go your separate ways, um, just make sure that you don't make sure you don't just go your separate ways knowing that you still love that person. Try to reason with that person and come to a conclusion,
Amen to
right?
that.
And that's my advice to people out there who's trying to get this thing called life right.
Together. Yeah. Well, wow. Thank you guys so much. And again, we'll join us back here every Tuesday night from 8:30 to 10 o'clock, but now it's like quarter to 12. We started late too. I don't know, internet troubles, not internet, but system troubles. I think we got it right. So again, confrontation. Listen and don't judge. Listen keenly. Pay attention to your partner and don't be offended whether you understand him or her. Just listen and don't judge. It makes for a good relationship. Right? I want to say this because sometimes we we tend to jump to conclusion before we understand what the person is trying to communicate with us. So listen first and analyze what is being said or the concern that is being raised, and then you answer it in a timely fashion. So there will be no space between that the person will feel like they're being rejected. So you want to have a functional relationship, whether a business or relationship, marriage, whatever, children-wise. Make sure everybody is clear on what you want to be addressing. Address it clearly, state your position clearly, so there will be no hiccups in the process. Hoping all things work good for those who love the Lord. Amen. All right, nice glasses, Veronica. I saw it earlier, but I just didn't say anything. But you match your clothes. You're all fit tonight. Yeah. Thank you again, Alithia, for coming on here again, and I wish you all the best. I know that I see the a lot of stuff you're pushing on, but I don't find a time to attend some of the events that you're having. It's good. I think I see one on leadership, something coming up.
Yeah, I have my I have one coming up on menopause, which is this
Wow.
Friday, IG Live. So you can catch it at 3:30,
Mm.
or you can catch the replay. And then at the end of the month, I'm doing a workshop on visualization. So something that Muhammad Ali had taught me. And he always said that I am the greatest. So you have to see yourself in
That's the
that
greatest.
role in order to execute those outcomes. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be talking about that. So yeah, feel free to come to that one. I'll
Yeah.
pop it in the WhatsApp for you.
So yeah, I'll come. I'll try and make it to that one.
Sure.
Friday. What time Friday? Not quite.
Friday, 3:30 IG Live. And then the other one that I'm doing with the visualization is on the 28th at 7 p.m.
That's 20 is the one.
Yeah, I'll send you the
Okay,
link
so
for that.
yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah, I'll attend one of those and see. Yeah, yeah. So be cool, be cool, be cool. Yeah. All right. So again, join me tomorrow night, guys, at
Maybe
7
you'll send me the
p.m.
link too.
with Pastor Shauna knows. We're talking about her book signing happening at Square One, right? Indigo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
congrats to her. I just love everything that she's doing, and I have the
Yeah.
book. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, she'll come on to. Let's go Saturday. I'll be there after
Is
trip.
it
I have a meeting.
this Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday.
The
Okay, let me check my calendar
the
because
22nd. Yeah.
okay.
So she'll be doing a book signing down at Indigo Square One.
Okay.
So encourage everybody, all listeners, to go on out. I don't know you heard it on GEMFM. So she'll be here tomorrow night. We're talking about the book signing. So half an hour or so. So join me for some music and some, talk with the author. Shana knows 30 days in the word. Devotional. And if you doesn't have a copy, get your copy at shanaknows.com. Yeah. So if you have an Indigo, if you're close to an Indigo bookstore, you could get it there as well. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a plum pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege being here with you tonight. Looking forward to see you again next week Tuesday night, right here, same place, same times, 8:30 p.m. Right, we got it going. Minister June wasn't able to make it tonight, and so that's why she is absent. I don't know Daniela
Oh,
probably.
she's listening. Hey, Diva.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
listening. Have a
yeah.
good night,
All
Veronica.
right.
See you
So,
tomorrow night, right?
yes,
You sent me the
Veronica.
link. Looking forward to checking it out.
All right. That's it. That's it. That's it. All right. One love, people. Have a pleasant night. And I go and play some music. Yeah. Get out of here. Get out there. Okay, where is the music I'm gonna play? Okay, where is my music? So, is that the one I want to play?
I've been working hard, I've made a mess of me. The person that I've been lately ain't who I wanna be. But you stay here right beside me, watch as the storm goes through, and I need you.
'Cause God gave me you for the ups and downs. God gave me you for the days of doubt. For when I think I've lost my way, there are no words here left to say it's true. God gave me you. Gave me you. There's more here than what we're seeing. Divine conspiracy. That you, an angel lovely, could somehow fall for me.
You'll always be love's great martyr. I'll be the flattered fool, and I need you. Yeah, God gave me you for the ups and downs. God gave me you for the days of doubt. For when I think I lost my way, there are no words here left to say it's true. God gave me you. On my own, I'm only half of what I could be. I can't do without you.
We are stitched together, and what love has done that I pray we never undo.
'Cause God gave me you for the ups and downs. God gave me you for the days of doubt. Oh,
God gave me up for the ups and downs. God gave me up for the days of doubt.
for when I think I've lost my way, there are no words here left to say it's true. God gave me you.
Gave me you.
He gave me you. Jesus, take the wheel, take it from my hands, 'cause I can't do this. Here comes goodbye.
What hurts
Here
the
comes a
most
lifetime.
was being so
Here comes
Babadamoy, Babadamoy, Lord. See my ex with a new man, feel like she new burn. We inside the session, party kicking up bad. She put up, she 2-1, whining back on the man. You think I gave a damn? You're mad. The day you leave me, the day you leave, I started to see my way. When you went away, what I thought was a tragedy was a blessing. The day you up and leave was a blessing. A blessing. I'm feeling so blessed. Leave was a blessing. A blessing. Hands up high, I'm winding low. before, my hands up high. I'm whining low, glad you go. I don't want you no more, oh no. I don't want you no more. And I'm so glad that you're gone, girl. I'm so glad that you go. I want you to know what's a blessing. The day you up and leave was a blessing. A blessing. I'm feeling so blessed. Oh yes. When you leave was a blessing. A blessing. My hands up high. I'm whining low. I'm glad you go. Like I never happy before. My hands up high. I'm whining low. I'm glad you go. And I don't want you no more. Oh no.
You try with a federation, the whole thing end in confusion. CARICOM and then CARIFTA, but somehow a spelling disaster. Mr. West Indian politician, I mean you went to a big institution, and how come you can't unite 7 million? When a West Indian unity, I know it's very easy. If you only rap to your people and tell them like me, them is one race, the Caribbean man, from the same place, the Caribbean man, that make the same trip, the Caribbean man, on the same ship, the Caribbean man. So we must push one common intention, it's for a better life in the region, for we women and we children. That must be the ambition of the Caribbean man, the Caribbean man, the Caribbean man. You say that the Federation was imported quite from England, and you're going on for my CARIFTA with a true West Indian flavor. But since CARIFTA started running, morning, noon and night all are hearing, it's just money speech them Prime Minister giving. But I say no set of money, good for my unity. First of all your people need their identity like one race, from the same place, that make the same trip, on the same ship. So we must push one common intention, it's for a better life in the region, for we women and we children. That must be the ambition of the Caribbean man, the Caribbean man, the Caribbean man. CARICOM is wasting time, the whole Caribbean gone blind. If we don't know from where we come in, then we can't plan where we go in. That's why some want to be communists, brother, some want to be socialists, and one set a religion to add to the foolishness. Look, a man who don't know his history can't form no unity. How could a man who don't know his roots form his own ideology like one race, from the same place, that make the same trip, on the same ship? So we must push one common intention, it's for a better life in the region, for we women and we children. That must be the ambition of the Caribbean man, the Caribbean man, the Caribbean man. The Federation done dead, and Carifta going to bed. But the cult of the Rastafarian spreading through the Caribbean. It have Rastas now in Grenada, it have Rastas now in St. Lucia. But to run Carifta, yes, you getting pressure. If the Rastafari movement spreading and Carifta dying slow, then it's something them Rastas on that them politicians don't know that there's one race from the same place that make the same trip on the same ship. So they pushing one common intention, it's for a better life in the region for the woman and their children. That must be the ambition of the Caribbean man, the Caribbean man, the Caribbean man.
This song is dedicated to all heroes and patriots who fall. This song called Innocent Blood, as I would say. In a revolution.
A pleasant good night to you, and else. This is GEMFM. I'm your host, the Sheriff, yours truly, John Kellys, and as we come to the end of the show, please follow us at our radio station at www.gemfm.ca, 24 hours of radio programming. So this is where I get to kick the chat to the rear and get here. So those of you joining us for the very first time, we thank you for joining. Please join us again and keep listening to our radio station at Radio Gardens on gemfm.ca. Tune in app at GMRFM. And keep on listening, keep on sharing. Let everybody know there is a new sheriff in town. That's yours boy, the sheriff, yours really, John Kellys. I'm out of here, folks. Have a wonderful night.